who are not able to answer.
We'll take questions from members. Thank you very much. Thanks, HOD. We'll take questions from members. Thank you very much. Thanks, HOD. Sorry, HOD, can I ask Member Masuku, can you just chair for me quickly? I just need to make a call. Sorry, HOD, can I ask?
I think maybe just guidance, Chair. We have 3 performance reports, and then we have 3 budget performance reports, and then we also have 3 budget for next financial report. Should you do all of them at once, and then we take question later?
I think so.
Okay.
That's but I also try to highlight key aspects. Okay.
I think, okay. Maybe just guidance, thanks, CFO. We have 2, 3 performance reports. Maybe let's start with, and then we have 3 later. Let's start with the performance, highlight the performance, and the CFO in succession to the performance in terms of spending and as well as the budget for next financial year. And in that order, Chief Fleet, in that order, GMA. Thanks. Maybe just guidance, thanks, CFO. We have 2, 3 performance reports. Maybe let's start with, and then we have 3 later. Let's start with the performance.
infrastructure, we had 16 targets. 13 of those targets we achieved, giving us an 81% achievement rate. And supply chain management, we had 4 targets and we achieved all. Corporate services, we had 1 target which was achieved. Program 2 for our transport planning, we had 3 targets. One is specifically in transport planning and the other 2 in road maintenance, which looks at gravel and surface roads visual assessment, and all of those targets were achieved. If we go to the design, and this is design of roads, we had 1 target and unfortunately we did not completely achieve the full target, and I will explain as we go into details. For construction, we had 3 targets which were annual and 1 target which was quarter, and we achieved. Transport, we achieved. Transport in administration and licensing, we had 2 targets. 1 was achieved, 1 was not achieved, and I will go through the 1. Operating license and permits, where we issue operating license to public transport operators, we had 1 target, and that was achieved. And I will now go. The first one was able to achieve 100% of all invoices being paid within 15 days. 100% of invoices paid within 30 days, we achieved 100% of invoices paid within 30 days. And this is due to the fact that the department was able to implement its updated standard operating procedures, which help us to enhance our performance and our compliance around this area. And also to black-owned enterprises, our target was 50, we achieved 74%, and this is due to the fact that our implementation of our procurement strategy helped us to make sure that we were able to specifically increase the participation of BEE and black-owned enterprises in our procurement process. In terms of administration, we had 1 e-service operationalized annually, and this is an e-service which we then put out to the public, where they can go online and be able to utilize our service, and specifically that is in relation to the delictuals. I won't go through that. In terms of our road surface upgrade, we focused on K101 for the financial year, and we actually 95, which is adjacent to K101. We upgraded the shoulders which were required to ensure that we had safety and reliability on the road. The other were not able to achieve the target due to the fact that, again, we had prolonged procurement process. Specifically, again, because we did not get bidders who were responsive, and we had to go through re-advertising. We just like the committee to note that bridges will be rehabilitated in 26-27. If we look at maintenance, the road maintenance program, which looks at resealing of roads, we actually achieved our target. We actually achieved our target for the quarter of 19.11 kilometers. In terms of blacktop patching, we exceeded our target by 8,505.29 square meters, and that was to improve the rideability on our roads. If we look at our gravel roads grading, we also overachieved there by 221.79 kilometers, specifically also to improve the rideability on our gravel roads. If we go to EPWP, which is our expanded public works program in terms of job creation, we set a target of 6,805 job opportunities. We overachieved by 7,064 jobs, and those additional jobs we created due to the fact that we had new projects that were being implemented, a new road project that we commenced in the 4th quarter. In terms of youth, we achieved our target by an extra 3 youth of 4,005, and again, this was due to new projects being commenced with. In terms of, apologies. In terms of women, we overachieved on our target by 1,800 due to the fact that new infrastructure projects had commenced, and we had an increase of women being employed on our projects. Persons with disabilities, we achieved 43 of persons with disabilities in terms of job creation. If I go to Program 3, which is Transport Operations, Specifically here, we're talking to our public transport services. And we had 16 subsidized bus contracts operationalized as per the agreed routes in the three municipalities where we provide subsidized bus transport, and those were fully operational in the fourth quarter. In terms of the subsidized route fourth quarter, 5% we electronically monitored to ensure that reliable services were provided to all the commuters. The next target was 250,000 transport users accessing public transport information through our transport management center. We're actually the ones that are outstanding from quarter 1 and quarter 3. So we made sure that the outstanding targets were achieved, and overall for the financial year we were able to achieve our compliance audits. In terms of our revenue generation in 26-27. In terms of our operating licenses, our target was 1,500. We overachieved by 3,000. We achieved 3,071. We overachieved by 1,571. This is because we not only addressed the new applications that we had received, but also the backlog. Some of the applications which were in our backlog, which helped us to overachieve on this particular target. Chair, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. While we just allowing them to set up for the presentation on the budget, let me also acknowledge the presence of our interpretation team at the back and greet them. And thank you as a team for always providing these services when we have committee meetings outside of the legislature. So good morning to all of you, and thank you very much for the work that you are doing. I also want to ask members of the Portfolio Committee just to quickly introduce themselves. Can we start on my left there? We'll come across the side.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings, everyone. It's nice to be here with all of you. I'm Emma More. I'm the member of this Portfolio Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me first greet you, the Chairperson and my colleagues on the table here, the department and all the community members. Member your committee. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, and it's good to be here. My name is Eva Duplessis, and I'm also a member of the committee.
I'm Bandile Masuku. I'm a member of the committee. Thank you.
Just again, my name is Gregory Schneemann, member of the committee, but also chairperson of the Portfolio Committee. Let me also use this opportunity to greet those who may be watching the proceedings of the committee on our Facebook and YouTube pages of Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Greetings to those of you who are watching, and certainly hope that you will find the deliberations useful and that you will gain a better understanding of the work of the department and how portfolio committees do their oversight work. I think we're ready to hand back to the department in terms of its presentation on the budget. Over to yourself. Who's presenting?
Thank you very much, Chair, and morning once more, and good morning, members of the community. I'll be taking you through the budget expenditure report. I hope my report is visible, Chair.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let's just give it a minute, a second, a couple of seconds. meantime, if you've come in since we've started and you wish to make use of the interpretation services, the languages that are being covered on this device are in English, Sesotho, Setswana, isiZulu, isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Tshivenda, Xitsonga. Please raise your hands if you would like a handset so that you can listen in the language of your choice. If you raise your hand and keep it up, they'll bring a handset from the back. Thank you. Are we good to go? Thank you. Back to you.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I think we are good to go. Thanks. I think I'll take you through two reports. Mainly is Q4 performance report, as well as our 2027 budget. In terms of Q4, how do we have performed? These are the explanation of the variances so far as how we have performed. So program one, maybe I think it's just safe for me to go through this slide. I think program one, in terms of how we performed, Chair and members, we had an overall budget of 10 billion. And I think in terms of the program one, we have spent 99.7%, program two, 99.9%, program three, 100%, program four, 99.7%, and our train, we've transferred all the funds within 100%. But I think just to talk to the variance, which is 19 million, Chair, I think of that 19 million, I think in the main, about 7 million of that, it relates to a compensation of employees. And I think the remainder is around the savings on the infrastructure project. I think that is what makes the 19.1 million overall. And I think in relation to the grants in particular, we have managed to spend almost 100% of the allocated grants, which is EPWP, PRMG, and public transport operational grant. And I think worth noting, Chair, on this slide, on the revenue, we plan to collect 5.4 billion. We've managed to collect 4.6 billion. The 848 million, Chair, I think of importance is just to put into context to say, as we've closed the year, there were about 1.3 billion, which was collected by the collecting agents. And I think in the main, when we closed the year, about 800 million was collected by the city of Joburg, but it was not necessarily paid to us as we closed the books. And the key one is that second from the list is the city of Gauteng of about 300 million that they've collected, not yet surrendered, and followed by the city of Tshwane, which they've collected just below 250 million, which is also not paid as at year end. So combined, we are looking at around about 1.4 billion, which had we paid to us on time, we would have exceeded the target. I think that is worth to be noted on this slide, Chair. I think I've already spoken to this. This is just economic classification on how we've obviously spent the 10 billion. I think this slide, Chair, it just indicates the budget that has been allocated to us for 26-27. Of importance and of noting is that comparatively, if you look at the previous slide, I think there's a just slight increase of the budget as compared to previous year of around about 143 million. But I think program one, we have been allocated 375 million. To date, we've just spent 5% of that. Transport infrastructure, we're sitting at 3.5 billion. To date, we spent 2%. Transport operations is just below 0%. Transport regulations, we've spent 4%. So far as the Gauteng is concerned, we are sitting at 9%. Overall, we've spent 315 million, which represents 3% of our current allocated budget. I think so far as the revenue is concerned, we've just collected 7%. And I think this ties back to the previous slide to say even the 1.3 billion that I've indicated, you can see in the current year, we have just collected 7% of that. So meaning that the remaining balance still sits with the collecting agents. I think on this slide, Chair, we are just depicting the economic classification on how then we spread the 10 billion budget that we have. I think of noting is that there's a slight increase so far as the compensation employees is concerned, and the rest of the classifications, I think you will note the decrease as compared to the previous year. And I think of importance is that if you look at where we really need to deliver our infrastructure, the budget that we had in the previous year was 2.1. We are experiencing a almost 500 million reduction in the current financial year. I think I will then move to the next slide. This slide is just trying to communicate what we're already preempting to have pressures on. Because these 5 items, I think, are in the main our key driver to deliver most of the services. Item number 1, we are already projecting to have a shortfall of 11 million. Because we obviously need to make sure that all our satellite offices, the securities is functional. We obviously have to make sure that we settled our municipal services as and when they fall due. The second item, obviously, as we attract new skills in the form of employment, we needed to make sure that we avail resources such as the laptops and so forth. So already there we are projecting to have funding pressure of around about 12 million. Of course, as and when we make sure that all our infrastructure is monitored, we obviously need to, from time to time, make sure that we visit our sites. And as such, of course, we needed to make sure that our fleet is taken care of. We are also projecting just 5 million as part of the funding pressures. As we deal with the public procurement from time to time, Chair, what is important is that as the bidders exercise their constitutional rights, as a department, we need to make sure that, of course, we, from time to time, we take some of the matters through our legal processes. And as such, we are projecting to have a shortfall of 35 million for us to be able to obviously defend ourselves as and when the issues become due. And lastly, the property payments. We had to swiftly deal with some HOS issues where we had to relocate some of the officials to the buildings to deal with the safety of the officials. Of course, the building was non-compliant, and as such, we are obviously projecting to also have pressures in that area. So in the main, I think we've just tried to focus these 5 items as key drivers, particularly on the discretionary allocations, where we are projecting already to have approximately 77 million pressures, which we need to deal with. And I think of noting is that the budget that has already been allocated, of course, I think our strategy is to make sure that by end of the month, we obviously have to deal with all invoices that we have received, just in efforts to make sure that all our liabilities or our debtors are obviously taken care of. So part of our plan is to make sure that the first budget, it goes to everyone that we owe, and then the rest, we can obviously start procuring new services. But I think what is also important, Chair, to note is that the impact of the budget reduction, of course, it will have a limitation on us having to deliver our services so far as the infrastructure is concerned, because we'll have to then find a way and means of still making sure that we can deliver our services with the limited resources that we have. But I think I just thought I must just share that with the members and of the committee. I think that will bring me to my end of the report, Chair. Thanks.
naturally. Who's next? G-Fleet.
G-Fleet.
Maybe to the CEO of G-Fleet, before you start, just in a couple of sentences, just indicate what G-Fleet is.
Okay.
We know what G-Fleet is, but not everybody necessarily knows what G-Fleet does. So if you could just...
Sure. Maybe with your permission, while it's still sitting up, I made a mistake. It's for presentation tag as well. I keep on forgetting that chairmen no longer report for them. My apologies, Chair.
Just check, can everybody that's using the headsets, can everybody hear? Is it fine now? Okay, great. Is it fine?
Once again, good morning, Chairperson and honorable members and members of the community. Chair and members of the community, just to introduce ourselves, we are G-Fleet. As an entity of the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport. Our role is to provide fleet management services to the entire of government. So as an example, you might have come across certain cars that are on the road and they carry a number plate which resembles G, so it has a G at the end, not a GP. Those are government vehicles, which is part of our fleet. We service all provincial departments in the province, as well as some of the municipalities. So the executive vehicles that the Premier drives, the MECs drive, are all our vehicles as G-Fleet. We're also one of the few provincial entities, if not the only, that operates also in other provinces. So we have regional offices in KZN, in the Free State, in East London, and Western Cape. So quite a lot of our vehicles are also in those provinces based on the national departments that use our services, as well as those particular provincial departments. So in a nutshell, when you see a car with a G on it, on the number plate side, even the red number plates, those are part of the vehicles that we've launched on the new number plate that is being piloted in the province. So just remember that is then belonging to G-Fleet. Chairperson, in terms of the quarter, on the overall progress, for the financial year 25-26, we had...
Sorry, CEO, sorry. Oh, there's the presentation. Okay, great. Is it up?
Okay. In terms of the 25-26 financial year, we had budgeted an amount of 1.2 billion that needed to be spent on our operations as G-Fleet. We are also noted as an entity that is self-sustaining, so we do not get any money from the provincial fiscus. There is no vote allocation to us. Whatever we generate is what goes back into our operations. So we had budgeted 1.2 billion. In the quarter, we were not able to spend all the money that we had allocated ourselves, largely due to the dependencies that we've had. So our business, as would know any other business, depends on our client demands. So we had a challenge during the financial year that due to the clients having budget cuts in terms of their fiscal and looking at their priorities, they opted not to replace their vehicles with new vehicles and replacement vehicles. So that meant that we were not able to spend the money that we had budgeted for, including the fact that we've got a vehicle maintenance workshop that's in our site in Bedford View, where we're trying to make sure that to reduce the cost of repairs and maintenance on our vehicles that are involved in accidents. In that way, we can pass on those cost savings to the client. That process had not taken up fully because we've had a legal challenge on that workshop, which is currently being addressed through the courts. And then the other one is the dependency. We've been implementing quite a lot of infrastructure projects, such as the building of a new building, improving our security around the site, and those did not take effect. But on the overall, as we closed up the financial year, we had spent 85% of our approved budget. That is, we just spent over R1 billion to deliver in terms of our APP. On the revenue side, we had budgeted 1.4 billion to receive from our services. We're proud to say, Chairperson, that in terms of the collection, we had exceeded that 1.4 billion. We had actually collected 1.6 billion. That is monies that has come from our clients. And as I've mentioned, that money goes back into our operations to enhance and improve on our services overall to government. We are very supportive of ensuring that whoever we appoint as service providers, that we do pay them within the required timeframes as SMMEs. So all our invoices have the 998 invoices that we've paid have all been paid within the 30 days. And apart from that, we have strived to make sure that 97% of that, so that's 973 invoices, had actually paid within 15 days. So we pride ourselves in ensuring that we do not stop SMMEs from business. In terms of our debtors, we had closed off the financial year with 214 million rand that's owing still from the clients. This is largely due to, and most of them are within the 30 days period, because they relate to invoices as we normally bill, then our clients will make funds available to pay us. On our target reporting, on the first target, we want to ensure that, so in addition to our leasing services, we also do auctions. So all our older vehicles that are obsolete and no longer can be put into service or it's not cost effective, we do run an auction. Every quarter we run an auction at our site. And we had target 82% of our vehicles must be auctioned. We'd achieved that by 92%, so we've overachieved on that target. And our debtors target has also been achieved by 25.27 in terms of a percentage reduction. One of our priorities is to ensure that the vehicles that we operate are energy efficient and also are supporting the reduction in the carbon footprint. So we must ensure that our vehicles are energy efficient. We had set ourselves our target of 12% of our vehicles must be energy efficient, and we've achieved that target at 12.9%. We also want our vehicles to be up to standard in terms of ensuring that they are of good quality. In that case, we need to ensure that our vehicles are at a good average rate, which is less than 4 years old. In terms of our fleet, we're sitting at 3.2 years, which is an achievement again. And we also offer services that relate to short-term rentals. Just like your private sector, that government can also lease vehicles on a short-term basis. And those targets, unfortunately, on the pool side had not been met for the quarter. But due to the month of January, when there was a slowdown in the request for new vehicles or renting vehicles, but we had achieved it on an annual target in terms of that. And then one of the other areas to ensure that our vehicles are safe, are protected from any theft and misuse. In that regard, we ensure that 98% of our vehicles are actually tracked. Chair, I think one of the things that we've battled on over the last few years has been ensuring that we have capacitated ourselves to provide the quality services that we require. I'm proud to say that in terms of the vacancy rate, as we closed out the financial year for the fourth quarter, we had reduced it to 10%. If you recall, Chair, in the previous portfolio committees, when MEC did take oversight over us, we were sitting at around 34% in terms of vacancy rate. That included critical posts. We have now reduced that to 10%, and we can start seeing it in the efficiency of our operations. The other area that I just wanted to highlight, that we are in the process of developing a new fleet system, and that system development is sitting at 53%, and hoping that by September we will be launching the first module that will enable us to be more technology driven in terms of our services. The current system is still operating, and it's being upgraded to support while we develop. This is just a highlight on some of our infrastructure projects. that we are on track to strengthen one, safekeeping, accountability, but also improve the conditions for our staff in terms of working, as well as to ensure that OHS issues are resolved. Chair, that's the presentation on the on our fourth quarter report. I'm going to quickly go to the budget. Okay. So in terms of our budget, as I mentioned to members of the community, we are one of the entities that do not get money from the fiscus. So whatever we generate is what we put back into our business. So our budget has to ensure that we have streamlined the processes and we align in terms of the making sure that we budget appropriately. I think the areas that what happened in this terms of financial year, we had budgeted 1.1 billion to be spent in terms of expenditure issues and how we responded to that. And this is a reduction, Chair, because of we can see the market conditions that departments are challenged in terms of ensuring that they are able to circulate our issues. So we have budgeted, in terms of this budget, how does it respond? It responds to ensuring that we reduce that 10% further by capacitating the entity, and in that filling of the remaining vacant positions, we've allocated 152 million in that regard. We've also looked at the acquisition of new vehicles. We've allocated 450 million to make sure that we can procure new vehicles. Obviously, as the economic conditions change within our clients, we will look to top this up to ensure that we are responsive to our clients' needs. We unfortunately we had to reduce the budget on the logistics function, pending the outcome from the Premier, as well as the idea that we are looking to kind of redesign and reconceptualize the logistics and make sure that we can then come up with an improved plan in conjunction with health and education. We have allocated one of our critical areas, Chair, is to make sure that our frontline staff, which is our VIP drivers, our regional office staff, are fully identifiable and are representative of the image and the brand at which we are trying to build. And in that regard, we have budgeted for corporate clothing that will ensure that our staff are professional at all times when they are dealing with our clients. We have allocated 14 million for our system development, as well as around 20 million for our infrastructure projects in relation to that. We've also allocated a further 11 million to ensure that the areas where we've got infrastructure, that it is continuously maintained. I think one of the challenges that we've had over the past was not maintaining ourselves, and that meant we have to reconstruct. So we've allocated sufficient budget there, as well as money for our routine fleet maintenance and services to ensure that our clients get well-serviced and maintained vehicles in that regard. And I think that, Chair, is in a nutshell. I think our revenue, we've increased it by 3%, which talks to the number that we are budgeting for this financial to collect, Chair, as just over 1.5 billion that we aim to collect as part of the work that we are doing. Chair, that's in a nutshell on our budget. Thank you.
CEO, can you just indicate, for the benefit of our guests and stakeholders here, where are your provincial offices?
Okay, Chair, in terms of our provincial offices, the first office to start off with is in KZN at the Dube Trade Port, so at the King Shaka International Airport. When you land, the Dube Trade Port is where our offices are situated, which is just literally, I would say, about 5 km or less from the actual King Shaka. The other one that we have is in East London, which is situated at the IDZ offices. Again, less than 5 km away from the East London International Airport. The other office that we have is in Western Cape. It's situated at the airport, the Cape Town International Airport, also a building owned by AXA. And then the last one that we have right now is at the Bloemfontein. It's in the Western area, again, plus minus 7 k's away from the airport itself. And the other area that I think we've committed, Chair, is that we are doing the feasibility study to open up an office in Limpopo, because we do support most of, if not all, the provincial departments in Limpopo in terms of the executives, as well as the judges that use our vehicles. Thank you, Chair.
CEO, before you vacate your seat there, I'm not opening for questions, but Member Du Plessis has noticed a discrepancy in your figures. He just wants to point it out, but you can respond to us when we take questions. But let Member Du Plessis quickly point out where he says there are discrepancies, so that you can have a look and then you can answer us.
Please. Thanks. I don't know if you quickly just want to go back to the HR slide, human resources slide. I don't want to nitpick. I just want to make sure about something. No, a bit more back.
It's on the current new budget.
Yeah, the human resources where it says, I think you've got 247 where it says how many people you've got on the organogram and how many people you need. Yeah, the previous one.
It's on the...
Yeah, on the first, fourth quarter. See, so again, don't want to nitpick, but there it says 242, but it says 246. And then it says 34, it says 29. I just want to check, is that should it be like that? Am I missing something? But where it says, and it's just about, what does it want to be. But when one sees a presentation, you want it to be right. So I just wanted to find out about the 241 where it says 246 in brackets, and also the 34 where it says 29. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, CEO.
CEO, can we give you a bit of time to look at that?
No, Chair, I think there's just a misspelt on the 41. It should be 246. The number is 246. Thanks. Apology to that, Chair.
No, it's fine, and thanks for picking it up. You see? Thanks. Okay, over to GMA. CEO, before you go into details in your reports, just give a brief overview. Who's GMA? And the Gauteng. And maybe also indicate, CEO, does the expansion plans include the West Rand? Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. While we set up, I'm Tsepo Khobe, and I'm the CEO of the Gauteng Management Agency. One of the maybe least known facts is that the Gauteng is fully owned by the Gauteng government, and we are the agency that manages the assets of the Gauteng and also ensures that they're well looked after and make sure that the operations of the Gauteng work as well as they do now, and they will continue to do so. We're also responsible for the long-term planning of the system in itself. So when we start talking about the extensions of the Gauteng in itself, including the long-term extensions, which we refer to as the Gauteng Super Network, which includes a line that comes out onto the West Rand itself. That is our work that we do. That is not done by the private sector, it's done by us. And that includes us planning for midi-bus routes, bus routes, and the train itself, and the long-term planning on, what do they call it, on our e-hailing services. Thank you, Chair. Is the presentation visible? There we go.
Yes, it is.
Just to be brief about it, our role is to coordinate, oversee the operations and maintenance of the Gauteng projects itself. We focus ourselves on making sure that we're sustainable, and we make sure that in this period, while we're changing over, we manage the transition in itself. And as I said, we manage the extensions of the Gauteng. These are our targets: 7 strategic outcomes, 21 outputs, and 29 output indicators. And in itself, then I will report on those going forward. In the quarter in itself, there's a number of items that were not due, but also there's only one item that is outstanding, which is the AGSA, so which then gives us a very high percentage. Once that is achieved, then that will give us a full 100% of achievement of targets in the quarter and also in the year itself. The key issue that has prevailed over the years has been our issues of our ridership, and we are glad to report to the committee that we finally are over the hurdle and are achieving our ridership target, both on the bus and on the trains themselves. In the quarter, we've managed to be above by 14.6% on the trains and 11.9% on the buses, or on the feeder services, because there's also the smaller buses that we use. Our marketing activities have continued in that way, and our system capacity management has also continued without any glitches. The number of penalties that we had to charge the operator and the concessionaire, we've implemented those effectively. The revenue and patronage reports that we've managed, similarly, all those targets have been achieved overall, and making sure that also our compliance to safety is managed accordingly. As I said, there is one target that is outstanding, which is the actual audit by the AG, which is underway at the current moment. It is a target of that quarter because it belongs to that financial year, but the audit is undertaken in this quarter, and therefore we will then make sure as we close out the year that is reflected accordingly as it should be. The number of MOUs are important to us because, Chair, as we look at making sure that we collaborate with various stakeholders to grow our ridership, and talking about our ridership, it means the number of people on the trains and also on the buses. It becomes important that our events, similar to when we supported the recent derby, at FNB Stadium, that is part of how we grow our ridership now. It is a big part of our future plans, and therefore we're managing it as such, and we're making sure that that is maintained and we achieve what we need to achieve. Our monthly oversights and managing the stations, we achieve that in full. In this quarter, we were not required to be able to update the delegation of authority and what do they call it? So therefore, the delegation of authority is normally updated in the second quarter, year on year, and there was no need for us to do it, so it was not due in the, what do they call it, in the quarter. The implementation of our action plans, from our evaluation as a board, we've managed to achieve more than 86%, and our target with it being just only 50%. Similarly, we are a top employer, and we have maintained our status as a top employer, one of the few in what they call it in the public sector, I might add. And therefore, that was important for us that 5 years in a row, we've managed to achieve that target in full. And then our audit and risk in itself, we've managed the key control dashboard and the performance and governance issues of the PFMA. Our IT is important to us. We are a highly digitized entity, with very little paper in it, and therefore we need to have availability of our IT at more than 99%. We've managed to achieve above that at 99.41%. And we've managed our risks accordingly, and our compliance and making sure that we comply to all laws of the country is important to us. The number of activities undertaken with our communication plan, we do make sure that once in a while we manage, or all the time we manage our reputation and the branding in itself, and we have to make sure that quarter on quarter we have activities that ensure that the visibility of the brand. One of the key issues that we manage as an entity is the compliance to socio-economic development of the system in itself, and we have to make sure that quarter on quarter we achieve our targets, and those targets were achieved. And then similarly, our corporate social investment program, we have achieved our targets. We had 2 of them, and we managed to do all of that. In terms of our integration, integration is important to the system in itself, because when you look at integration, we have to look at how we bring on the meter, the minibus taxi industry to be able to work with us. And in the quarter in itself, we've actually managed to achieve the additional 3 routes that we needed to be able to increase our numbers. This has benefited us quite heavily in order in achieving our bus numbers. In the last quarter, Chair, if you remember, we were still saying that our bus numbers are lagging behind. And the implementation of our work that we do with the taxi industry is actually bearing fruit more than anything else. So we will be rolling out in this year alone an additional 6 routes across the whole of the province. I'll leave it there, Chair. The route determination issues that had to be done for what do they call it, for the extensions, we have completed that, and the MEC has signed off. Chair, I have noticed that what do they call it, that the presentation on the budget had not been added onto I will just give a what do they call it, and I will then make sure that Tembiso receives the actual presentation so that it can be shared with the members. In the year coming, Chair, to be exact, our budget, we're looking at a budget of 3.4 billion rands. The allocation from the MTF is about 2.5 billion rands alone. And in itself, we have taken a haircut of about probably more than 300 million rands. But we are comfortable with that because as we change over the system and the system gets taken over by government, the revenue of the system reverts back to what do they call it, to the entity in itself. And we're looking at almost close to more than 750 million rands coming into the entity, which will cover for the shortfall in itself. Our DLTC income grows from what do they call it, from the 126 million rands that we achieved in this year to 177. We are anticipating probably more than what do they call it, 200 million, but we're being conservative in as such. And then from generally our costs in itself, a lot more of the money goes into our operating costs, and a lot of the money that we get directly from government goes into actually making sure that the system is looked after properly. And we've budgeted about 2.478 billion rands to manage the system and keep it and the upkeep of the system. The actual cost of the entity rise to what do they call it, to 496,500. As we look at managing revenue and managing a bigger DLTC fleet, as we modernize the DLTC fleet for the whole of the province, that actually increases our cost marginally on what do they call it, on our COE and everything else. And in general, we are anticipating a more than 20% profitability on our DLTCs. I'll leave it there, Chair. We will share the what do they call the presentation with what do they call it, with Tembiso, so that it can share it with the members.
CEO, just before you leave the seat, just explain, you're talking about DLTCs. Can you just explain what is the role of the GMA and Gauteng in rolling out these new smart licensing centres, and what's the impact, and what's the closest one to the West Rand? Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. I think we've just opened a, what do they call it, a new one. The name of the town evades me. Oh, in Muhlakeng, yes, yes. We've just opened a new one in Muhlakeng. The DLTCs are our driver's license and testing centers. Those driver's license and testing centers allow you to be able to apply for your license, your personal driving license. It allows you to apply for your professional driver's permit, your PDP. It allows you to be able to actually apply for your license disc for what do they call it, for your car. We've modernized the manner in which how services are done in these DLTCs. I always tell the story of how I once spent 3 days in a DLTC trying to get a driver's license, get a license disc. I don't have a PDP, but those were the two things that I was trying to do after nearly getting arrested by finding out that I had an expired license and I had no license disc. But we've reduced that service to where in and out, the entire service has gone from where, from a 2-hour period to actually 15 minutes. We guarantee you in and out 15 minutes with you having your license applied for. And in addition to that, your, what do they call it, your temporary license is given to you. Our license disc for your cars, we guarantee you that in and out 5 minutes. And that one, you don't even have to book for it. We work on a scheduled basis that, what do they call it, that enables you to do what you need to do as quickly as possible. And therefore, on the licensing, on your personal license, we don't take walk-ins. We actually work on an appointment basis, and we have quite an efficient queue management service. And we try by all means to make sure that as all the slots in the day are actually utilized in full. And if you think about it, if every 15 minutes we're saving somebody out of an 8-hour day, there's 4 people per hour that we manage. And there's never a point at which, what do they call it? We have had our upkeep of our licensing system in a whole, where our availability of, what do they call it, or our uptime on our IT systems is more than 99.5%. And that we are proud of in what do they call it, in how we've digitized the service as a whole. I'll leave it there, Chair.
Thank you. Maybe just to say that there are these smart licensing centers at the Sandton station. There's one that's in pilot phase, soon to be launched. There's one at Midrand Station, there's one at Centurion Station. So if you're looking for an alternative, quick in and out, we can recommend those smart licensing centers, plus the one here in Muhlakeng. I think we're going to take Transport Authority for Gauteng. Thank you. CEO, you can also just briefly describe who TAG is and just give a short background, please.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much, Chair. The Transport Authority for Gauteng is a fairly new entity, 5 years old, established in 2019 through the Gauteng Transport Authority Act 2 of 2019. It's a Schedule 3C entity as per the PFMA provisions. And I must say that it's Gauteng's first provincial transport authority, and maybe actually a special authority throughout the country and beyond in Africa. It's established to lead strategic integrated transport planning and coordination. We coordinate municipalities, other government spheres, sister departments that has to do with everything else transport, including public transport, rail, aviation, which also is a significant component to the landscape of our transport system in the province, and non-motorized transport, because we also are considerate of, for instance, people living with disabilities. So they are catered for within public transport, within the transport system. We've delivered the integrated transport master plan, the PLTF, and the strategic transport plan. I think among others, our role is to advocate as per what has been provided for in the ITMP. As we are advocating for a concept, or rather the TOD concept, that enables a seamless integration. So into the future, we're looking at those key transport nodes wherein we will have multimodal facilities and for better mobility and access across the province, not only in one specific city. So there are provisions made for the West Rand. We have identified some key nodes where these multimodal facilities can be established. And of course, we will be supporting rail as the backbone within the public transport landscape. Chair, thank you. I thought that's the background. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
Thank you. Am I switching off? In terms of Q4 performance, I have already done this, that we are an entity of the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport. In terms of annual performance plan, we had 10 strategic outcomes with 22 outputs and output indicators. Just as per the achievement, or rather performance, we have achieved in Q1 100% achievement, but let me dwell more on Q4, which is the period in question for reporting. We've achieved 95% of our indicators. The only outstanding indicator is that which is awaiting the finalization of the audit process by the AG. So once that has been concluded, we are hopeful that we will achieve 100% of our APP. Just among the outputs that outline that are encased within the APP, on outcome number 1, we have the assessment of planning capacity within metros and districts. This ties in quite well with our mandate, that of collaborating and coordinating municipalities, among others. We did an audit of the needs, or rather we did an audit in terms of capacity, planning capacity within municipalities. And we have achieved that in the form of a draft report that we will be able to then start implementing and rolling out, and also coming up with better interventions on capacitating municipalities. And as far as the second output, which is the knowledge transfer to local authorities, and this is also building within their capacity. We've held training for these municipal authorities. Our target for the quarter was 1. However, we've achieved, we've held 1 forum or 1 training forum for Q4, and we've overachieved this by 2 additional forums. So in essence, overall, we had 3 trainings initiatives. We've also, as an enabling regulatory environment in place, as regulating the environment is also within our mandate. We are currently drafting or amending our act so as it better aligns with developments within the industry, within the market. We have, at this point in time, achieved a draft amended act. Of course, it still has to go through the entire processes of it being, the amendments being accepted. In as far as stakeholder management as an output, we've held stakeholder management, we've developed a stakeholder management strategy, which is now currently at implementation or being rolled out. As far as other outputs, engagements with stakeholders and other role players, we have achieved that 100%. Political level engagements, wherein we have meetings with the executive authority, the MEC, we have achieved those. Technical level engagements, where we engage with personnel of local authorities and other spheres of government, we've achieved that. Engagements with state-owned enterprises in the transport sector, we've had meetings with various enterprises that are in the space of transport. We've also had engagements with operators within the province and engagements with meetings with commuter forums within the province. And this is when we were still when we were undertaking our our work within the integrated implementation plan that we should enable the rollout of the integrated transport master plan. Okay, we've also had dialogues with national and provincial treasury. Because we have a fairly new entity, it's important that we we have these engagements, and there are reflections as to how best this entity can take off and it can move forward into the future to achieve its mandates. We've also published the executive summary of the strategic transport plan. We've achieved that indicator. We also have a draft integrated implementation plan in totality, wherein we've incorporated all inputs that we have received in the various meetings, engagements that we had with the various sectors in the transport landscape ecosystem. We will be going through a procurement process to develop a sustainable mobility strategy. We have achieved that because we have already drafted or developed the terms of reference that will enable us to go out on procurement. We've also developed an MOU between us, the National Department of Transport, and the Office of the Premier. That was also one of the indicators or outputs rather that had to be achieved. We've also concluded the final draft of the integrated fare management policy. This will enable us to achieve, or rather to realize, our objective of a single ticketing system across the modes within the province. Just want to move quickly. We've had implementation initiatives for communication strategy. We have that communication strategy, partnerships established with the UITP, that is a global entity that coordinates all transport matters wherein knowledge sharing happens. We also are able, through them, to map ourselves and align with best practices, international best practices, in as far as transport provision and planning is concerned. In terms of the insignia, we have approved the insignia for public transport in Gauteng. This is one single identifier for all transport modes across the province. What is outstanding in the current financial year, it's formulating a governance framework and the norms and standards on implementing this insignia. A draft partnership strategy for non-motorized transport, because we want our main objective and aim is to enter into partnerships on non-motorized transport. As I've alluded earlier, people living with disabilities, for instance, biking communities, cycling communities, they fall within this strategy. So that draft partnership strategy has been achieved, and we will be able to then conclude it once we have conducted stakeholder engagements and have received inputs from the various identified or mapped out stakeholders. What is pending, as I've indicated, it's the audit report. Once the AG has concluded audit processes, we are hopeful that this will be achieved. Our risk policy and risk framework, we have that approved from a governance perspective. That has also been achieved. Thank you for that. If I can just quickly go through the budget. Chair, our main funding source is through the fiscus, the provincial fiscus, and through the department's vote. TEC is currently not registered as a standalone program, and hence a budget line item, as highlighted or reflected in the slide, is funding the entity. And of the just about 58 million that has been provided in this line item, just above 42 million thereof, it's for TEC, and the remainder of the balance, or rather the balance, is for taxi support, which is administered by the department, the DRT. So this is what constitutes the allocation for the entity. The MTF baseline allocation sitting at 42,585, with the operational plan at 20 million in total. We have been allocated 62,585 million. Just as a breakdown of allocation, we have COE at just above 37 million, board and committees just at 800,000, admin and operating costs at above 11 million, consultants at just above 3.6 million, information technology at 2 million, marketing costs at 1 million, project expenditure at just above 6 million, and the total for that it's 62.8 million. We have not yet received our expenditure report yet. That is still being processed internally, and we will report thereon in the next meeting of the portfolio committee. Just so as to indicate in respect of the deficits on employee-related costs, we are currently reliant on the GMA, which is costing us much more less. What TAG would require is around 60 million for that, and unfortunately, and therefore, due to those budget constraints, we currently are utilizing GMA as a support structure. On the building acquisition, the projected cost for the financial year is basically 10 million. We have only budgeted for 5 million with a deficit of 5 million. And as for the transport insignia, this is one specific project that we are looking at off-balance sheet funding, although it's sitting currently with a deficit of 8.5, and we're hopeful that this can be funded through off-balance sheet. The ICT infrastructure, this cost can be held back until such time that the TAG has migrated to its own facility, its building, wherein ICT infrastructure can better be provided for. Marketing and communications, there is a shortfall of that 4 million. However, we are currently working on alternative innovative ways that are employed to still achieve our intended objectives to market the entity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me just welcome the MEC of Roads and Transport, MEC Kiribone Diari-Tlabela. Welcome, MEC. I did indicate earlier that the MEC was involved in a law enforcement operation. It started in the early hours of this morning. So if she looks a bit tired, she's come from something that's been on the go since early hours of this morning in the CBD of Joburg. She may come in a bit later. She might give us a sense of what happened there. I don't know. But welcome, MEC. And we're glad that you're here with us. Thank you. HOD, I think we're finished. Is that right?
We are finished. Maybe just to emphasize one issue that is relevant to the neighborhood here. The drilling and the planning around the sinkhole is done, and so we have the spec and the numbers, and now we're finalizing procurement for the contractor to come into the actual work. It's included in the budget, just that we did not emphasize it separately, Chair. Thanks.
Let me open up to members of the committee. It's your opportunity. Any questions you want to ask? Can I go? Let me check there. Member More, anything from your side? Yeah, you do. Yeah. So let's start with Member More, Member Masoleng, Member Sorot, Member Duplessis, Member Mosuku, if you've got anything you want to
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I want to start with the Gautrain and say well done and congrats on achieving, and with some targets you've actually overachieved them. G-Fleet, yeah, it's unfortunate that you've got the 6% decrease in your budget this time. Kindly, if you can improve on your rental days in terms of the vehicle, the pool of vehicle. And then I'm worried with your HR structure. You mentioned that you've got 275 positions, but only 246 is filled, therefore 29 vacant positions. But you also mentioned that I think 4 positions are not going to be filled. So now my interest is your staff establishment. How old is it? How often do you change it? What are the factors that say change me as the structure because of the demand and supply? So it will be interesting to see your before and the after structure, just to see how it looks like. I'm actually very interested in that, your organizational structure. So how does it look right now? Does it mean now it's 275 minus 4 is 271? Who has been reduced? What are those 4 positions that will no longer form part of the staff establishment? To take, hey, I just Googled the word insignia. And yeah, in future, just put, man, in brackets, man, our emblem, our logo, man. Hey, some of us, you. So, yeah, we'll be waiting to see that new logo. Very interesting. And then on your slide, let me go back. On your slide 11 of 12, output 21. Let's see, output 21. Okay, I'm waiting for mine to open. Yeah, I think it's the second, I think it's the last slide, ne? More number 21. Yeah, well done with your clean king audit output, blah, blah, blah. But now on target 4, when you say it's pending, and even the actual is pending, and even the comment will be pending, how then did you get to this unqualified audit report? Just maybe when you explain that one. Yeah, but well done. But just give me that explanation on that. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair. Let me first welcome all the presentation. Mine is on the P122 project that is not complete due to sinkholes. So it is indicated on the presentation that it will be finalized within 2026, 2027. Can we have proper timelines there? Because if you are just saying 2020, it can be any time. So give us proper timelines to say that you'll be done by 12th of June 2027. The same goes with the bridges, the 3 bridges that are incomplete. Can we also have timelines of those so that we are able to do our work diligently? And the youth that were employed, EPWP, it's around 4,000 if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. Can that figure be broken down? Because in females, how many males, and how many people living with disabilities? Because we need to also ensure that females are also presented and the people living with disabilities. The 900 million under collection from municipalities, Chair, that it sounds like a broken record because we have this challenge. It's a long-standing challenge. And we want to understand the strategy, was it not put in place to ensure that municipalities surrender their collected revenue? Can we get clarity on that? And on the budget, the 500 million reduction, what led to this decrease? Because infrastructure, I believe it is a core of roads and transport business. What led to this reduction of the budget, and what strategies do you have in place to ensure that you manage the shortfall? On Gauteng, I also want to join my colleague and congratulate you on meeting all your achievements, all your targets. But then because you did not give us a proper presentation on your budget, I just want to find out the extension to other areas within the province. Is it also part of the budget? Is it budgeted for? And this also includes the extension to Limpopo. I think I'm done, Chair. Thank you.
Member Sarot, thanks. Member Masole. Member Sarot, anything? Covered, great. Member Du Plessis.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Actually, you just mentioned something now about the sinkhole. I don't know, is it the R5631 one? Maybe we could just expand on that at some point in time. But just to quickly throw what we saw in the presentations, on the first presentation, the first quarter, the GD party first quarter report, it said that some of the projects couldn't go ahead because the bidders didn't respond. Can we just get some clarity on that? Why is the market flooded? Why are we not people? Why are the people that we need to draw up certain of our roads and whatever not coming to the party? It was said that there was no bidders that responded. What's the problem there? Is it the private sector? Why are we not getting people to come on board and to help us with that? Then the same with the fourth quarter report on the budget expenditure. There was also the same as what happened with G-Fleet. It was said there with transport operations it was 100%, but it wasn't. There's 259,000 that is still there, so it can't be 100% if we can just look at that. Then something interesting that was said there about the 5 points that really gives us a problem of the funding pressures was the legal fees. And we have spoken about this before to say that if we do road maintenance and we keep our people safe, we wouldn't have that much to spend on legal fees. So that's more of a comment to say that you know, if we look at road maintenance better, we might save on the legal fees, and that's something, you know, that we don't want to sit with. I hope that that's the right one that I'm talking about, is the legal fees for people suing us about, you know, tires and potholes and accidents and stuff like that. G-Fleet, we did speak about that on the HR slide. GMA, just again, you know, thank you for that, guys. The DLTCs, I just want to say that I went to the one in Mogale about 3 weeks back, and I had exactly the same experience as what was just explained to us. I think the DLTCs is working very well, and again, also well done on the outcomes of the audits. And then on the Transport Authority, just you spoke about the insignia, and I know my colleague also. Can we see it? Have you got it yet? Have we seen it? Is it the Access Gauteng one? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Member Du Plessis. Member Masuku, anything from you?
I think maybe one of the things that we omitted to indicate to the public is to welcome the new HOD, because it's one of those departments that don't really have a stable leadership, you know, and we are hoping that you'll stay longer, and you'll see the entities that you are running, they are doing their bit. With your leadership, it means that the performance can improve, and that's what we actually look forward to. You know, the projects that are not completed, they should be. And I think it should be one of your priorities to make sure that those projects are completed. But we also welcome the opening of the long-standing Vereeniging taxi rank, thanks to the work of the MEC and all your team, and the pressure that the committee pushed and put on yourselves to make sure that some of these are done. Remember, roads are very important arteries for communication and traveling, so we require speed in their repair. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Member Masuku. I thought for a minute you and I were changing portfolios. That's on a lighter note. But no, thanks very much. Just a couple of points from my side. I just want to echo what Member Du Plessis has raised. Can you give us a little bit more detail about the sinkhole? I think you need to give us some time frames. We just want more information. I think, firstly, the first point I wanted to raise, HOD and MEC, A couple of weeks ago, the portfolio committee was here at the D400, which goes past Maropeng, going towards, which area is that now? Yeah, anyway, it goes that direction, sorry. But we came to have a look at that road, which has been quite well known for its patching. But we were quite pleased to see that most of that road has been resurfaced. Makes a huge difference when one travels on it. But in terms of the budget for 26-27, does this budget allow the department to focus a lot more on resurfacing rather than patching of potholes? Pothole patching is important, but sometimes you get to a stage you can't patch anymore, and you must resurface. So I just want us to get an indication, is this budget going to allow us to do a lot more resurfacing on roads that need it in the province? I think, the bridges that have not been rehabilitated, we did go and visit some of those bridges late last year, I think it was, or early this year, no, it was last year. And I think it's welcome news that work is starting on those bridges. So Western Bisa will make sure, if we can still get out there this term before the recess again, we'll get out there to go and have a look. So I think that's welcome. Also, in terms of the department in Q4, you've met all your targets for women, youth and persons with disabilities. And I think we must appreciate the effort that's being put in, because it's a matter that the committee has consistently been raising, particularly around persons with disabilities. There was a period where just nothing was happening. So we want to welcome that, but we hope it continues going forward. But I think it's a welcome step forward, welcome improvement in meeting those targets. The other area, just as a comment, I know we're not dealing with the annual report, but it was reflected in the presentation that the underspending for this past financial year, that's the 25-26 financial year for the department, has reduced down to 19 million. And just for the benefit of those of you here, underspending means money that was allocated but hasn't been able to spend. Now, you might think that 19 million is a lot. Yes, it's a lot of money. But let me just say this, that over the past few years, we've seen underspending come from a level like that right down. So I think we must acknowledge the work that's taken place to reduce the underspending. Sometimes underspending, you can't avoid it. There are things that happen, just as with G Fleet, where they were saying to us that entities that were going to take new vehicles have decided not to. So there are times when it's unavoidable. But there was a stage where the underspending on the department was just at unacceptable levels. And we must, MEC, congratulate you and the team on the sterling work that's been done to bring that underspending right down. And we really appreciate that. So I thought I must just raise that. I know we'll deal that more when we get to the annual report process later in the year. The 1.4 billion still owed by municipalities, I think that's a big cause for concern. And I think that is licensing revenues that are not being paid over. Can we get an indication, what are we doing about that? Because that's a lot of money. So that's a real concern. On the slide of the department budget for buildings is reduced. What impact does that have on the upgrades and renovations of the regional offices? So the ones that we've been to are not in a good condition. We can just get a sense about that. G Fleet, your vacancy rate down from where it was at one stage of 34% to 10%. It's a good improvement, but we need to see it go down even further in this current financial year, but it's welcome there. I think the ridership, echoing the comments of my colleagues, the fact that we're finally starting to see ridership going up, and it's because of various innovative steps that have taken place. The various programs that have been implemented, focusing on some of the big events in the province, we must applaud that, and we hope it continues. We hope it continues, and also the buses, because that for us has been a big concern. I took a bus the other day from Midrand Station. I was catching a taxi in Midrand to Alex, and I think during the day that's still a problem as to what do we do with these buses during the day, because the driver of that bus was giving us the hours in the morning and the afternoon where they full, but then during the day there seems to be a lull. But the fact that those ridership levels are going up, I think is very much welcome. Just very quickly, I think I've covered that. Yeah, I think the smart licensing centres, my colleague here has mentioned that. Are there plans to expand that footprint in the current financial year? We can just get a sense of that. Because I think those smart licensing centres are having a huge impact on reducing the times it takes to get your vehicle license. Maybe I can just explain. I mean, about 2-3 years ago, I stood at the Cresta post office. I was in that queue for about 4 or 5 hours. And I knew I couldn't move because I had to renew my license, but there was nowhere else I could go. And my experience, similar to yours, I went to the Midrand Station. I think within 20 minutes I had my license and left for my disc for my car. So, yeah, that footprint. I see you're starting to use your stations for innovative arts, fashion shows. I saw on social media that there was a fashion show at Rosebank Station, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know which station it was. Park Station. Okay. But I guess these are all, and in fact, I saw the article I read. Somebody was saying they hadn't used the Gautrain for such a long time, and they used the train to get to that fashion show. I think it was a fashion show. I mean, is that going to happen on a more frequent basis, using these station precincts for other things that will attract people to use the train? But I was quite intrigued to see that. And it's a similar thing we saw in Egypt, by the way, where in Egypt, they showcase their stations, different personalities, artworks, etc. So I just thought I would touch on that. I think I'm just about done then. Now, the only thing with TAG, I mean, I think we've raised it before, HOD and MEC. I think the profile of TAG is going to a higher level. When some of us joined this committee, TAG was down below the radar screen. But we're happy with the work that's happening. Just the issue of TAG not being a standalone entity, does that have a negative impact on TAG? And are there plans to look at trying to get to a place where it could be created in a standalone entity? I think that's it from us. Let me see, anything you want to raise? Can I hand over to you? Thanks, and welcome again.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, Bomeli Bontate. My apologies for arriving a little bit late, like Chair said, and for looking terrible. We woke up at 4 to be in the CBD of Johannesburg at 6, and I stay very far in Tshwane. I hope Bagolo will forgive me for looking terrible. It wasn't an easy operation that we did. Chair will share with the members of the Portfolio Committee on why did we go to the CBD of Johannesburg that early in the morning. Chair, I don't know if the team wants to respond, because I'm going to be a bit generic. Want to respond to technical questions, like when. I don't want you to give dates according to what engineers give you. My experience, Member Masoleng, is that engineers will say we are going to finish rehabilitating this sinkhole in 2 months' time. And in that 2 months' time, they discover something else or they get delayed. And sometimes we come to the Portfolio Committee and to the people to say, we are going to finish this road on this date, only to find that there are some of the challenges as we are working. And one of the critical challenges, Chair, that we face and why our projects take longer is community disruptions. I see there's different leaders, there's different stakeholders here. That for us to be able to, even on road maintenance, that is a pain to all of us. The roads are bad, we petition, and then the departments come to want to fix. And instead of fixing, then we spend almost 3 months trying to talk to the community to say, allow us to work. And an example was, I don't know, just this week, there's where the departmental staff, officials who are hired as road maintenance workers, they couldn't fix, remove blockages on stormwater drainages because community wants tender. So you can imagine, so it takes us longer. We try to come up with different strategies to social facilitation, informing community. It's now becoming too expensive also because you'll find that the work we are there has opportunities for laborers around 20 only. And when we get into the community wants to hire 100 people. And that is money that we would have not budgeted for, but then also that is a resource that we don't need in the project. So those are the challenges that we faced with, and I think we are not the only department on infrastructure development that faces such. We're trying our best to look into how do we try to accommodate, and Chair, I must really raise this, that it has a huge impact on us achieving projects on time and within cost, because in some instances, really will be forced to take people that ordinarily you will not be needing because you've got the machines that can do the work. So the high rate of unemployment creates this problem for us. Everybody wants an opportunity. So those are the challenges that we're faced with. Even in communities where there's less unemployment, you find the neighboring townships, neighboring wards, coming to that project where they don't decide to say, we want the opportunity, and we try hard. The other issue, Chair, is the budget. As you have seen, historically we have been a poor performing department. Not me, Bagolo. Yeah. So that came with the pain. So immediately you don't spend the money, it goes back. And the revenue fund, the provincial revenue fund or national revenue fund will no longer trust you with giving you money because you are not spending it, you are an underperformer. So before 2023, 2024, we're a department, before my time, we're a department that was performing at 48% of its targets and underspending. And then we turn around that, and we are now a department that is performing very well. We've put systems in place, and I think the HOD, because he was a former CFO of the department, will continue with the program of turning around the department, including the capacity that we have identified to assist him in different entities. So we have fixed the systems, and now we are realizing, Member Moro, that the money that is allocated to us is very little to can do half of the job we are expected to do. The visual condition assessment, as we got from CSIR, says in our analysis, if we are to fix, rehabilitate around 54 roads from a fair condition to a very good condition, then there will no longer be noise. Noise meaning complaints, all of us not happy with our road infrastructure as a province. And the team had also costed that it's a couple of billions, and we are giving only around 800 million to do the work. So you can imagine it means it's going to take us almost, I think, with all the monies we have, focusing ourselves to milling, resealing, light rehab, in some instances, heavy rehab. The money is too little. So what we have done is, in working with councillors and municipalities, is to say, which roads are you saying to us, our roads as a province, we must fast track fixing as municipalities. So we have that list out of 54. And I think in this financial year, DDG will speak to the number of roads or kilometers that we are milling and resealing. So we say as a department, we don't like cupcakes. Cupcakes is when we come and patch the road and then leave. After two days, it rains, the pothole opens up again. So we prefer to mill and reseal. And we have identified, and CSIR has helped us to do that. So in each and every region, of course, with more intensified program here in the West Rand, because the province for a very long time have neglected the West Rand road network, which we are now prioritizing. We have started, and I think we're about 10 roads almost done with milling and resealing, road marking. We're busy with road marking on some of the roads, and then we are redirecting ourselves to maintenance. And we said to the team, why should we build new things when we can maintain the old ones? So we are in that program of buying a longer lifespan of our roads into a longer one. And then we can focus ourselves to construction of the new roads. We also are finalizing consolidation of the need throughout the province. So on provincial road network as well as on municipal road network. The fact is, when you see a pothole, you see government that is not fixing. It's worse when you come and report it to me as an MEC of Roads and Transport, and I say, it's not my road. You'll be very angry. You can even strangle me, because I will be saying, that's not my road, and that's not my road. That's a fact. And AG will not even look me into the eye that I took money of the provincial government to fix the asset that doesn't belong to the provincial government. So we're trying to coordinate ourselves to work together with the municipalities. I must say, one of the biggest challenges is coalition governments in local government, because there's no consistency, there's no continuity. And every time a leader changes, and I think Member Masuku here reflected on the continuous changes that continue to happen, they destabilize service delivery. Because every new party that comes, if our focus was in West Rand like we are now, you can imagine if tomorrow I'm removed and somebody takes the whole team, the whole budget, redirect it to Tshwane or to Sidibeng for some reason. So it means the projects in West Rand that we would have wanted to start with is either going to be abandoned or, and there's the challenge of public service that I think together with local government, we must find ways of our intergovernmental relations do not, instead more should promote service, quality service delivery, but then also politics should not hamper service delivery, which has been our reality since 2016 here in Gauteng. I think we are the first ones to experience coalition government at local government, and there are things that fell in the cracks, and I think there's a need for us to fix, and we are doing that within the roads and transport sector, Chair. So there's clarity in municipalities on, like a municipality like Maropeng only have 47 million as a budget for road maintenance or road construction. And then Ekurhuleni has just below 1 billion. And their need is more than that 1 billion, and it's all all of us have less resources. So we have consolidated, we are consolidating to make a presentation to National that this is the state of the roads in Gauteng, and this is the resources we have, and this is the program we are engaged in, but then this is the need. And we also said to ourselves, we must also look into different models of funding infrastructure development, road infrastructure development in our province, on the provincial road network, as well as municipalities. So there's, and you can see after electricity and water, the next crisis is roads. Bridges that are, I think in Johannesburg, the last time I did a count, there were 871 bridges that are not in a good state, that can collapse any minute, and they do not have a budget to fix those bridges. So those are the challenges we're faced with. We're conversing with our Minister of Transport to assist us, and we're looking at various models together with the municipalities. So we're trying our best to turn around the department. Not so easy, I must say. The challenges are enormous, and we're doing our best to solve all the challenges. I know you want to have our contact details, but we're a very interactive department. You can go to our social media pages, raise your issues. We also have what is called rapid response teams across all the regions. When you complain, you directly talk to them. They'll be directly able to give you feedback and go with you to where you are complaining and get the teams to fix. It's not yet perfect, but we desire a situation where all of you are happy with the service that we're giving you. Our turnaround time on fixing potholes, just patching, if it's a temporary measure, or patching because the road is still in a good condition, is 72 hours. So you can't sit and say, I'm waiting for 72 hours. So you report, and every hour you say you have not fixed. And I think it helps to those that have been, we've been very interacting with society, the community members that do that. And we're trying. I think our teams are also trying, Chair. Some other questions, I think, on the budget, I just reflected that we're looking at different models to get more money. The cuts have affected us a great deal as a department, but because of good behavior, we are hoping that National Treasury and the Provincial Treasury will look our way, not only on roads, but also on public transport operations. Thank you, Chair. I don't know if I've forgotten any other thing. The entities are fairly doing well. They can still do more than what they are doing. Tech is starting to crawl. And one of the things we said tech must do is creating awareness on the Gauteng Transport Infrastructure Act, more specifically to damage to road furnitures. So when it starts from in Gauteng, Thursday to Monday is Puza period. I don't know what is, do you know what is Puza period? And it's from Thursday to Monday. There's a lot of days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So they stop drinking wee hours of Tuesday, because Monday is Mogodu Monday, it's Blow Mandag. So in all the cultures, Monday has some boys' meetings going to take 1 or 2 to reflect over the weekend. And after those Puza sessions, it's straight to our robots, our street lights, stop sign, guardrails, and to fix a robot, it's about between 500,000 to 1.5 million. And this is the money that you call it's your money. And we said to the team, we must start collecting from these people who have a lot of money to go and drink and come back and smash the robot and the street lights and the guardrails and the stop signs. So you can go Puza, but then if it ends on our traffic light, it will end in tears. And we are tired of rest in peace. But then collecting money will not say you have rested in peace. Your insurance will have to pay us so that we fix that robot again. And we also are working with municipalities to ensure collection of all the damaged poles that we continue to see on our roads. So it's not yet perfect, but I think we're getting there. We're encouraging the teams to see the roads as their own kitchens. So the roads must be clean as our kitchens, because the roads are our receptions as a province and as a people who live in this province. So we're trying our best, Chair, to deal with that. Very soon we'll be coming to communicate that section in Transport Infrastructure Act of saying you damage, you pay, and then conscientize society on how do you pay, but also encouraging society to also do the policing. So when you see that they have posed and they are ending up on our road infrastructure or road furniture, you just take a video, a photo, report, and perhaps maybe, and this is the ideas coming from the team, that community member that reports, they then get a certain percentage to encourage law enforcement, but also to encourage community policing. So you can imagine if fixing a robot is 700,000 and there's a percentage you get just for you that you have reported. So it means everybody is going to be involved in the policing of infrastructure. I'm told it's happening in Singapore. In Singapore, they don't rely in men and women in blue. Society is policing each other. You are eating a chappies and throwing it down. They take a picture, they report because they get an incentive for doing that. So you can imagine if we all start doing it. You are illegally dumping on our road, we take you a picture. So everybody will start being involved in ensuring that our province is a better province. So those are ideas. We'll obviously have to test them with the legislative framework, creativity around it, and to look into how then do we put it properly in a legal framework and implement. So thank you very much, honorable members. I just want to thank you also for your oversight. You, as a collective, have made sure that we really, really improve on our work, and we plead with you not to stop, because as you raise your issues, you are helping us to be a perfect service delivery model in our province. Thank you very much. I don't know if the team have identified technical issues that want to respond to. PG, I see. Thanks, Chair.
Good afternoon, MEC and honourable members. I think the one question for G-Fleet focus around our structure from honourable member More. The structure that G-Fleet operates is a very old structure, just like the department structure. It was approved in 2012. Whether it's our ideal structure, the answer is no. Hence, we've reviewed the structure holistically with the department, and that structure will, if once approved by DPSA, will then allow us to expand our operations. So, for example, one of the things that we need as a business is to have a business development and future growth person in our structure. Currently, that does not exist. It's myself that is going out and driving business. So it's not working ideal. Although, as we stand, MEC, we're sitting at 59 clients. That has grown quite significantly. Since you took office, we are now, based on, after you take an office, we've moved to 25 new clients. So we're currently sitting cannot fill is because those relate to personal assistants, to senior managers. Consolidation of work so that there's centralized support services as opposed to individual PAs for each of the senior managers. Those are some of the efficiencies that DPSA is driving to make sure that we have lean structures, but support our business growth in that regard. I hope
activity of illegal immigrants in the country. But then what is also surprising, Chair, is that we have buses on a daily basis that come to South Africa, bringing people who, I think the buses were at 2 a.m. So they sleep in the bus until the shops open, and then they go to the shops to stock and go to the buses, and then they leave back to their countries. But then another that we also pick up, especially with Malawi nationals, is that just today in Johannesburg, a lot are, they call themselves porters. So these are people who transport parcels on behalf of their fellow countrymen so they work in your houses, like they work for some of us. And then they do parcels to go. So on a daily basis, and these ones have, their passports were similar, and so these are people, they don't spend time in the country. They are here to take back home and then come back again to take. They are legal because their passport, they always renew. So their passport has a loss because they are here, they are allowed to be here for 30 days, I think. So Bona, they come here for 4 days, book themselves in different hotels next to these illegal logistics companies that bus companies, and it's bus logistics companies. So they are all in one place that we got to know about. And when we arrived, they closed their precincts. So there's more than to those who think are legal and are working here illegally. There's also this economic activity. The colleagues we were with in Johannesburg, it's also a fright issue, tech. We need to look into it because there's a lot of revenue we are not calling that, and then it's an economic activity because people are coming to buy stock here. But then the challenge with the shops to buy stock, I ask how to, so it's cash. So this is not money going into a bank. It's money between themselves, exchanging hands, which I think we need to, and I'm hopeful that we'll even get ideas on how to go about it. But then there's high rate illegal bus operators. There's also, this morning, I think we found around 35 men as early as 6:30 with their passports to give to, he calls himself a bus inspector. So this bus inspector collects the passports, and then they go with it into the bus back home to regularize them, and then they bring them back to them. So as I was leaving, the teams were to shut down that. It's sort of a bus rank. It's a JPC. It's called Fleet Africa. So there's a manager there who we had to call that for us to close. But it's purely neglect of law enforcement on our side as government. Because if there is our property as Johannesburg, for instance, we're putting, and there's that activity, we should be putting measures in place to ensure there's no illegal activities that happen. But then there's a bus from Zimbabwe, and they were there, they arrived Lebanon in the early hours. They are waiting for clinics to open to go collect medication. Some are going for treatment, into the bus and go back to Zimbabwe. So we asked them, okay, what addresses do you use? Because this lady said, you know what, now I want to come clean. I'm not here to. The reason we're still in the buses, we're waiting for time so that we go out and we go to clinics. want to go, I'm going treatment, it's my date. And then the question is, which address do you use when you get to clinic? I'm using an address in Jamestown. I'm going to a clinic in Jamestown. I used to stay. And when we look at the address, it's a South African, the home owner is a South African. And that's she said she's using to access the clinic. So there's activities that I think today it was an eye-opener more than to the illegal challenge we have. We have these ones who are legal, traveling in and out on a daily basis. They are here to do what they want to do and then go back home. So those that they were faced with were constitutional democracy, government, and need an approach on this issue. It's quite a difficult one because we're feeling the pain and we're feeling the pressure, including those who are running wholesale markets. They are also illegal, but then they also hired illegal immigrants in it. So there's no return in them being here. There's also a high... Sibuke. And we had to think, Sibuke. And then where's Jeanette? Jeanette is there in Ferenigi, Sibuke. We see each other once in a week. And we called Jeanette immediately because we were with BMA and Home Affairs. Jeanette, you are married to Guru Kuruma or something. How is your marriage possible that Kuruma does not even know where you stay? So the things that we see on TV are real, and I think we need to create awareness amongst our own children, our own sisters, that it can't be that we sell citizenship and you get 350 and a person runs a market of over millions on a daily basis. And then at some point, then they want to divorce them, and is that challenge. So public transport plays a role also in illegal immigration, and we are trying to focus law enforcement into it. Those who are from Johannesburg, I think we also need to do something with JMPD. It has been neglected for quite some time, and they have lost consciousness that they are servicing people of Johannesburg. So we need to really, I think I've been to all municipalities doing operations, I think including our national minister. In her operations, she tells you that I don't want JMPD. So we need to really do something around that. But we will do our best. We are not complaining. We are saying these are challenges that we are faced with. As a society, we perpetuate it because we hire them. Black and white, siyafana. White people, you hire them in your factories. Blacks, you rent them your houses and your garages. So crime is committed. We are all corrupt. We need to all wake up and say, what are we doing to this country? Because there's where they are sleeping. They didn't come here with houses. So we are all benefiting from them, exploiting them. And now when there are a problem of crime and many other things, we want to look the side of government, when really government is not there, when you house them to exploit them through rental fees, when you hire them for cheaper labor, and this is a problem of all of us. And we need to pause a bit and say, they are now here. One of the comments I got today from one of the citizens that saw us, they said the way there are so many, they will wake up one day, because they are organized, they know each other. They'll wake up one day and start removing us from our houses. There are many and they are very fit. They don't drink alcohol. Or they drink less of it. We are always drunk. So you can imagine what's going to happen. The way there are many, we hire them in our farms, we exploit them. And that's why there will be allegations that there's farm killings because they are exploited. They decide one day they are mooring a bus and cutting a bus into pieces because they can no longer take it, the abuse and harassment they go through. So it's one agenda we are wanting to converse with yourselves on. Masiti mabahambe. It's possible they're more than us. You know, how do we do it and how do we hold each other accountable? But law enforcement must also play their role and stop loving money more than their lives. So yeah, that's the role we are playing in the public transport sector, quite a difficult one. It's not going to be easy. We need communities to work closely with us on this one, and everybody else, including the business sector, to assist us. There are many ideas, Chair, on how to go about the issue of illegal immigrants. We're not the first country that is faced with. We're told those that are developed were developed by illegal immigrants. Are we that character here? Because we're still a youthful population. That's our strength. We are also too many. We're not like developed countries that are aging communities and populations that rely on the youthfulness of migration or migrants to their provinces, to their countries. But otherwise, just thank you, Chair, for sharing this experience. It was my first time doing this kind of an operation. Otherwise, we do it on the road. So we went to the hubs where they are, and we found a whole lot of activities in those hubs. And I was saying, intelligence should be able to know these hubs because that's where we can really capture and cap the illegality that comes with some of the activities. Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks, MEC, and thanks for just sharing a little bit of that with us. We appreciate that. We were invited, but we had to be here as well. So, but in the next ones, we will certainly make sure that we're able to join you, MEC. But thank you very much for sharing a bit with us. Just as I end off, quickly in a minute or two, the Portfolio Committee section, because I want to open up for questions and engagement. But as I say, we want to finish by 2 o'clock. It's 1:10 Let me just say this firstly, that as a Portfolio Committee, we have a list, quite a lengthy list of projects that we visit on a regular basis. So we don't just have committee meetings. We generally go out because we find that when we go out with the department to check up on a particular project, it does put pressure, it does keep up the pressure, and the department pulls out the stops to try and make sure that there's progress. So we do a lot of visits around the province to various projects. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're not so happy. And when we are not happy, we do tell the department, we do alert the MEC of areas where we are concerned about. So I wanted to just indicate that. HOD, the grass cutting. Other day I was driving to Ekpoort, and I asked myself, if I get stuck here, where do I pull over? Because you can't pull over onto the side. The grass is so long. Please, if it's possible, please can we attend to, in this area, Ekpoort area, Magaliesburg area, there are a lot of sections of the road where the grass is extremely long, and you just can't pull off. But it's also a security issue as well, because you have no idea who's in there. So just to raise that, I think we're asking if something can be done. HOD, if it can be looked at, please. Just to say, as a portfolio committee, we have been pushing hard. We believe that if a motorist knocks over a robot, they must pay. They must pay for it. They must pay for it to be fixed. And as a portfolio committee, I just wanted to back up what the MEC is raising. We've been raising it for quite a while. We are firm believers as a portfolio committee that where you damage infrastructure, you must be held liable, you must pay. It used to be the practice in the past. In years gone by, if you decided to go somewhere on your way home and you'd overindulged and you knocked over a robot, you were held liable. And as a portfolio committee, we firmly believe that people who want to damage infrastructure and drink substances that cause you not to know where you're going, we must find out who you are and make you pay. So we firmly believe that. And we actually want that to happen. Because too much money is spent on fixing up what somebody else has just damaged. Particularly after Friday nights and Saturday nights, drive around, you'll see the robots all over just knocked down. And then the state must bear the cost. So it's something that we are pushing for, and we will work with the department and support whatever measure can be put in place to hold people responsible. Just quickly, I think we've been visiting a couple of projects in this area, the Pinehaven Weighbridge, just near Silver Star. And I must admit, we were there about 2 weeks ago. It's fixed, but there's a cable issue, and HOD, hopefully we want to see that working. We want these trucks that are overloaded to be caught and pulled off. The last point I just want to raise on the committee side, I mean, we welcome the inputs and the feedback we're getting, but I do think that as a committee we are concerned about the sinkhole in the area. We do think it's taking time. The 3 months to appoint a contractor, if I heard correctly, we would like to see that happen quicker. I don't know, I've traveled, come around in this area every so often, and that detour route is long. It's a long route. But equally, and I think as a committee we are concerned about road users who deliberately break the law. There's a sign there that says residents only. But road users are breaking the law. They drive through there. In fact, morning, the driver wanted to go through there. I said, there's no ways you're going through there. And he laughed at me. And when I got off here, I said, you better obey the rules of the road. We'll catch you. Now, so I think the one thing is we want to see this sinkhole dealt with as speedily as possible. But equally, HOD, and I know the MEC, there's steps been trying to be taken to put law enforcement in the area. But I don't think it's sufficient because, unfortunately, drivers on our roads, so we mustn't blame government, we must blame people on the roads as well. Because I can tell you, the majority, a large majority of drivers who use our roads just break the law, do what they want. And it's happening there as well. So I think we did raise this in the last portfolio committee, HOD, that there's got to be a clear strategy. When a sinkhole develops, there has to be a set plan of what gets put in place to safeguard motorists, but where there needs to be detours to make sure that we have adequate measures and to ensure that people who use our roads actually obey the directives, etc. But I do think we would want to see quicker action on this pothole. But I just wanted to raise that on behalf of the portfolio committee. But otherwise, I think from the committee side, thank you for the responses. So what we want to do now is open up to guests here that may want to raise a question with the department. Let me open up. Just mindful, we want to finish by 2. I know you would have listened to a lot of stuff here. So I want to, have we got roving mics, Stimbisa? Stimbisa? Do we have roving mics? Is there somebody that's going to help us? Okay. All right, let me stand up here. I'm not going to take everybody. Okay, let me start that side. No. No. On that side, gentleman over there in the white top, lady in the blue, and the lady in the red at the back. Those are the 3 hands I'm taking there. Let's take those 3 hands, please. I'll come to these other points. Can I ask that you please be brief? Just tell us who you are and just give the issue you want to raise. Thank you.
Thank you, members and the committee, and the Maropeng facility to give us this spacious, venue. I want to add what was the committee was saying at the road that is connecting Krugersdorp and Hekpoort and alongside the other parts. On the road, on the R560 in Mogale City, we have noted several sections of the road are damaged. The detour is closed almost a month or 2 months. It's very concerning. And the road, if you can check, the road is getting more tight. I use taxis most of the time. I don't have a car. So you can get concerned if the truck is approaching and the taxi is approaching, or hey, are we gonna make it? So as the roadworthy, please, let's take the issue serious. This road is getting very dangerous, and the bushes are alongside the roads. It's not safe anymore. So I have a question regarding the youth. When the department is planning to fix the road, are the youth of this community included in the budget? Are we going to be when the budget is allocated? Are we going to be included now? Thank you.
Thanks very much. Was that the R560?
Yeah, it's road R560.
Thank you very much. Second person, if we can, I'm going to time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Kifilo Mudigo, the ward councillor. MEC, I'm glad that you have admitted that you've been neglecting the West Rand, more especially Hekpoort. You've appointed the company Bobcon. Bobcon is working on the R24 and also the D400. D400 is in Hekpoort, but guess what? Those that are employed in that project, they are from other wards, not in Hekpoort. But as the community, we need to keep quiet so that our roads could be fixed. Secondly, MEC, R560 and R563, we no longer have the roads. Can you please resurface those roads? Because the issue of potholes is not working for us. And Honorable Chair, I'm glad that you still think of us as the community of Hekpoort. The issue of grass cutting is worse now. And down there by the meander, we have a farmer who put stones on the road. I've been reporting that issue with the DRT, but nothing is being done. So could you please assist us on that meander? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The third speaker.
Good day, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask a question. My name is Eunice Tlamini. I'm from Ward 32. My question is, how does EPWP link to infrastructure? Thank you.
Thank you. Short to the point. I'm hoping the team will take note. Let me come to this middle section here. I'm going to take this gentleman number 1, gentleman in the black hat number 2, councillor number 3, myself number 4, number 5, the lady at the back with orange, 5, 6, the gentleman in the white, and 7 at the back. You can please remember your numbers and 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. My name is Palo Mokwena. Chair, I just want to do follow-up from last year when we were in Rand West. I raised a concern about the road, gravel road that's coming from Randfontein. It links to R24 and N14 via Mablomon Primary School. That road is very terrible, Chair. And we are pleading to the province because whenever we raise concerns, they are telling us that is provincial road and we don't know who to talk to. If it can be upgraded to, I don't know, because you can grade it today, if it rains tomorrow back to zero. Maybe it can be tied then, because it links so Tarleton to and Randfontein, and it's a very busy road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 2.
Good day, everyone. My name is Thabo Mate. I'm from the Rand West. My first question is, I want to know, MEC, did you ever come to Rand West regarding the issue of the scholar transport? I'm talking about the buses that take our kids to schools. Our buses are not well at all. Others are out of the road, others don't have a seat. But I think our government will take action after the big terrible accident that's ever happened to our kids. That's when our government will be able to take action on that. Can you please look into that? The second issue is about the offices of the Gauteng provincial. I want to ask to COE, I heard him saying they have offices in KZ and Bloemfontein. Where are the offices in Gauteng so that we can go and visit and get clarity for our youth to get employed? Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Number 3.
Can you please pass it to the councillor?
Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, MEC. I'd like to speak about the turnaround times on potholes. I heard correctly if it's 72 hours or 7.2 months. Because we've been reporting potholes on the inner Craddle Road since the rainy season last year. Can we have an indication on when the sinkhole repairs will at least begin? And what was actually budgeted for the repair? Has the sinkhole, the new sinkhole in the R1701 at the Sturkfontein Gateway been included? And the sinkhole that's beginning on the R563 N14 on the verge. We have insufficient signage for this closure points, insufficient barriers, and insufficient law enforcement support. In fact, the inner Craddle roads are now becoming raceways. Supercars are using them on weekends, causing quite a big concern. Going into the weekends, and especially on Friday afternoons, the amounts of trucks that are coming through the 2 closure points on the R563 are very concerning. Yes, there is lawlessness by road users and truck users. I'm also concerned about the school buses and the tourist buses that are coming through there. No vehicles over 5 tons are supposed to be coming there. So absolutely insufficient signage and barriers at that side. Regarding the EPWP work, we have had numerous projects within Ward 39 over the last 2 years, the weighbridge along the roads, but no local SMMEs have benefited and no local labour has benefited. So that is very concerning and we get lots of questions around that. The detours, yes, they are very long, but the internal Craddle roads have taken incredible strain. The potholes in places are 20 centimetres deep. In the first presentation today, they discussed a live app where people could complain and claim for their damages on their vehicles, if we could have a link to that. And is there an app where the residents can report potholes and things like that, if we can have that? And if we could please fast track the rural roads, especially the ones that are coming into the Craddle, the D540, R1701, R114, R374, M5. M5 Bays, Nordea, the potholes on that road are frightening. And then just some clarity around the maintenance infrastructure where you got 100%. How did those 8 targets quantify? Because there's been no maintenance. Could we also have clarity on how the resources are diverted from the Craddle to other areas where they'll begin fixing up the D540 for argument's sake, and the next minute all our resources are sitting on the other side of town for 30 days. So we underspent by 19 million, which is great, but that could have been used to fix the potholes. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Next person.
Good day all. Name is Trevor Bruff from the COHWHS Association. I concur with a lot of what the council has said, but I'd like to add that over a period of time, the number of sinkholes occurring in the Craddle area, which is on Dolomite, is increasing quite dramatically. We used to have a sinkhole once every few years. We've now already had 2 instances of sinkholes this year alone. The sinkhole last year on the R563 occurred on the 20th of February 2025. It's only now starting to get to the point where it's going to be repaired. The new sinkhole in 14 on the slipway occurred on the 20th of February this year. There's been no further attention to that as yet. During April, the sinkhole started on the R1701 at the gateway. I've been there with the geosciences. There seems to be a dramatic ground movement taking place at that location. I've actually picked up a number of cracks in the ground which seem to indicate that the collapse in that area could be a lot more severe than what we see at the moment. I've also been in the geosciences in the greater Craddle area. There seems to be quite a number of sinkholes taking place. When I was with them last month, we found, 4 sinkholes which weren't on their records as yet. That's on public areas, not even the sinkholes on private land. So we do have a serious problem in the Craddle area with sinkholes taking place, which is going to have an impact on the budgets, which I have a concern about because the budget seems to be very low, taking into account the changing in the climate, the fact that the Gauteng is 25% dolomite, so we can expect increase in sinkholes as the rains increase, and apart from the fact that we already have in excess of 5,000 sinkholes in Gauteng. The N14 is at high risk where it crosses the Tweeloopie Spruit. For a number of years, there was raw acid mining there. We don't know how much damage the acid mine has done to the structure under that bridge. I know a hydrologist who actually does not drive behind heavy vehicles. If they're in front of him, he slows down, lets the heavy vehicle cross the bridge first, just in case a collapse takes place there. So there's a very severe risk of the N14 through the entire Craddle area. Thank you. That's enough for now.
Just to say, sir, some of the issues that you are raising might relate to the provincial department. Some of them are matters that we would want to get a little bit of more information from you, because it's matters we'll have to take up with our counterparts in the Portfolio Committee on COCTA, which deals with local government, because there's disaster management in the province, etc., and then within COCTA, there's budget for some of these issues. But we'll need to get a little bit more information from you.
Please.
So that we can just see how do we deal with that. Thanks.
Please, I'll chat with you afterwards. Okay.
Next person.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Tepiso Mukoni from the Randfontein PCO. I don't know if you can hear me. I have a couple of issues to raise, basically, with regards to this matter. The first one, the gentleman mentioned the scholar transport. I do understand that with regards to scholar transport, it might necessarily be something that the Department of Transport is handling. The Department of Education might be in charge of that. But I was just asking, is there any way that the Department of Transport and Department of Education are trying to work together to then move it to Department of Transport so that matters of regulations are properly done? Because buses in Rand West especially are not from the Rand West. They come from Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and all these other areas. So it's rather difficult to then do anything when it comes to that. So I'm just asking with regards to that. That's number one. And number two, I was asking with regards to permits, because there was an issue of scholar transport, private ones besides the bus ones, where they had issues with permits. Are the issues with permits finalized, or are they still in process, or are they moving along swiftly, as quickly as possible with regards to that? Then I come to the matter of Main Reef Road. I'm going to start by the Leratong intersection, when the robots there are mostly not working. I think maybe it's because of Thursday to Monday, MEC, Sheila's day to Mukhodu Monday, matters happen. The cars fall in love with robots there. I think that there's a system that the department needs to do, maybe use the cameras that were launched to kind of identify the perpetrators of this matter. Then come for R28, Main Reef from Leratong to Randfontein, it's a lot of potholes, it's just a mess. It needs to be attended to. Then R28, corner R28 and Main Reef, the robots there are always a problem as well. They either work for a week, after a week we have 2 months of them not working. Maybe if we can be assisted there as well. Then I wanted to understand, in terms of revenue, we have a lot of cars that are using other countries' number plates. And I don't know how then it assists with the province. And also if the car gets into an accident with a South African person, how do they then claim insurance? Then we need to understand how then they assist economic-wise, because there's no use they're using our roads, but they're not assisting economically with regards to that. Then one more matter, I think just to, thank you. Just to quickly say to MEC with regards to the matter that you're saying about illegal foreigners. Illegal foreigners must start from us, South Africans. We are harboring them in our homes, we are harboring them in our communities, and we blame the government. Then it must start from the grassroots before it can go up. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Next speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And let me send greetings to all the portfolio committee members there and all the stakeholders. Honorable Chair, I think maybe let us start here first, because if we are going to ignore this thing, we're going to have a problem. Firstly, I think we are supposed to be getting agendas in terms of when you were uttering the...
Sorry, just give us your name, please.
Oh, my name is Voyane Koi. I'm residing here in Mogale City, Smalanyana Township in Manzanville. Yes. Oh, sorry for not introducing myself, Honorable Chair. Yeah, as I was saying, Honorable Chair, we're supposed to have at least an agenda, and then we appreciate the presentation of all the stakeholders. I believe that because of we've seen the slide there, we're supposed to at least have some copies where we can be able to, because it becomes a challenge when the stakeholder doing a presentation there, we're struggling in terms of scribing here. So hence we are saying that maybe in future, let us try to fix those small mistakes. Thank you very much. I think I will come to roads and transport. I have a question because of here in we have a municipality, a local, Mogale City local municipality. We've been getting a lot of presentation of integrated development plan. But there's a road in Ward 27 in Maibuye, it's Helena Road. So Helena Road, it's been damaged for a very long time. We've been getting a lot of service providers, but even today the road is not well maintained. So we'd like MEC, please try to assist us on that one. And then there's a road in extension 4, Manzanville in Roma section. The street is Movango Crescent. There are a lot of potholes that side. We would like at least the Department of Roads and Transport to assist us on that one, because we've been reporting those potholes for a very long time. to our ward councillors. Even today, we haven't been assisted. And then I wanted to come on Gauteng management agencies. Just wanted to check that because of here in Mogale City, we have a lot of unemployment rate. How do we do your recruitment so that we can be able to try to apply? Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Maybe those roads that you were talking about, you can... sorry, just hold on. The roads that you were talking about, some of them are probably municipal roads, but bring them forward to us afterwards. Because I know the department will engage with the municipality and try and help to get them to respond. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. My name is Sbosiso Kumalo. I'm from Western area in Ward 17. So we welcome the report that was given before us. Although Tina in Western area, we feel like we are not part of Gauteng. I don't know whether we are street kid of Gauteng or what. Due to Western area is not developed. Western area, it is under Rand West Municipality. I know that whatever that we were talking about here, probably it will end in Roteport. It won't come to us. That's the dream that will never come true, especially to us in Western area. And then I thought even the report you were going to indicate about rail transport, because before we were relying on the rail transport, train, Prasa, but I haven't heard anything about that. And then there is this N12 road. I'm not sure whether it is a right platform to talk about N12 road because it is the national road. But I'm staying next to N12 road. The N12 road from Waterworks up until before you get to Western area, that road has a problem of flooding, more especially when it is raining. So now I was asking myself, that road was done by engineers. What kind of engineers bebenza that road? Because there is no tunneling for water. Like when it is raining, amanzi angami in the street. And then again, ama traffic lights kwi intersection R28 ne N12. There's no traffic light there, and that road iba busy, especially afternoon and in the morning. So many accidents are happening there. Then one another thing, indaba yama illegal foreigners. I think now I have to talk about this because of this thing of illegal foreigners. It is affecting us, especially here in Gauteng. Let's start here first. Before we can blame the landlord, those people, there is somewhere where they pass after they get into the country. So the problem, it is where they pass, kuma borders. I used to say, I will only support the march that will say, let us go to Vaterkloof and ask those guys what is happening in our borders. I won't go to a union building or to any police station because indaba imosheke from our borders. And then about Joburg, what is happening in the Joburg CBD, my sister. You need to go with all the stakeholders, more especially the taxi industries and other stakeholders, to stop all those illegally bus taxi rank and taxi ranks. You cannot do it alone, but together we can do more. Thank you very much.
All right. Let me come this side. Sure. Finishing at 2, eh? So you're going to have to be very brief. All right. Number 1. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6. Thank you. 3 minutes. Let's start with the gentleman in the front here.
want to talk?
Afternoon, honorable members of the Transportation Portfolio and the Gauteng Legislature. Standing here at Sponsor Consano from Mansonville, Ward 27. I'm asking on behalf of the community of Mansonville to urgently bring to attention the state of the bridge in our area at Dr. Martin Ramirez Drive. The bridge is in a dangerous condition and has deteriorated to the point where it is no longer safe to use. As a result, our learners can no longer get to school safely. Many children are now missing classes. They are missing classes daily because the only route to their schools is blocked by this bridge. And when it's raining, it's affecting the right to education and putting their lives to risk. So we are asking the transportation portfolio to prioritize this matter and provide a clear plan for repair or alternative access for our learners as a matter of urgency. Thanks for your attention. We look forward to your swift response.
Thank you. Number two.
Number two, yes.
Thanks for being brief.
Chair. Yes, I will be brief. Thanks, Chair. My name is Master Pushko Elise, and I'm a military veteran from the MK. Chair, you see, man, somebody is failing you. It's either your portfolio or it's the department. Because if I remember, there's a lady in your department called Hazel. Hazel is normally taking us to these sessions. I remember we went to Azadvin with the very same committee. We went to Zonke Zizwe with this committee. And all these issues that have been raised here, they've been raising in these portfolios. And there's no way forward. We repeat one thing all over again. So maybe next time, Chair, MEC, Liberty Secretary, equaling the needs and the concerns of community. Next time, here's are your needs, here's are your concerns. And we have addressed those issues. At least the way it's in this committee, there was a chairperson called Greg. I think it's the one. Yeah, yes, it's the one. Comrade Greg. So I think Comrade Greg will explain how they've been moving this the project in the Western in particular. But if you about the tables there, maybe these issues not only cover some of the issues. But Chair, you know, I hear but what we are already CWP in the new project, the disability. But you don't talk about the veterans, the people who makes you to lead this country. Haliba entertain. But Comrade Greg, I think you will sit with your committee to say next time I will deal with these veterans. So we march to your office and say, hey, the veterans, so we will like a collection. Like we have a collection or no, la collector but you don't talk about the collection of Mogale. Or Mogale na ilukolotina. I see the MEC in your last point, Dana. There's a point I mentioned in these things. Comrade Craig, I finish. You know, there's a stand really masol. To say when we visiting the houses, where how he visited the foreigners. Luena, I mean, really foreigners. Luena, how he visited foreigners. Luena, the stand owner, you are going to be arrested. So, that particular law. I thank you.
Chairperson, Gadumedisane. Kina Joyce Tutuzide Shawango. If you still remember me, Mr. Craig, on 2024, I was complaining about the road from Azadville to Bongweni. You still remember? You say you'll do a follow-up. And then still nothing happened. From Chipumkhale to Antli, that place is dangerous. 3 months back, the group of Zamazamas, because if you drive there, you can't drive fast. You have to go slow, no maganjan. So they stopped the taxi. The taxi was from the people who are going to work. They stop the taxi, they take their belongings. It was early in the morning. They take everything from them because the taxi was driving small due to those potholes. They are very, very dangerous. I was so angry and I was so, I feel the pain because I'm the one who was complaining about that road. 2024, we were in Randfontein. Okay, I think you'll note that thing, please, I beg you. It's for the last time. And then the second one, please, can you please help us about those transport drivers who transport the kids, the scholars? Those people, now they are playing a role to us. We are not working. Those ones who are registered to transport the school kids, they are charging us a lot of money. 700, let's say example, I'm staying in Chibumkhale. They're charging us 700 rand from Chibumkhale to Bongweni. Those one unregistered one who don't have documents, they're charging us a lower price, lower amount, which is maybe sometimes they cost us 450. Just imagine if they say 700, where I'm going to, where can I get that money to top up? Because the grant school kids is getting 550. I need to top up and I'm not working. And they are registered. They are got everything, they are 100%. Those ones who don't have papers to drive the kids, to transport the kids, they're charging us the lesser amount. You see now there's an opposition. Can you please do something about the thing? At least everyone must be registered so that you must know we are paying a same amount. Because now really this thing is not good. We're taking them because of less amount. But now we know that we are risking for our kids. Thank you.
Can you just give clarity in terms of the documents you're talking about?
Yes, because the other ones, they don't have a PDP to transport the school kids. The other one, they are like, even the like driver's license they don't have. Just be serious about it. It's serious, it's true. The other one, they just transport the kids. So we know that if you transport the kids, you have to get that certificate of transporting the kids. So those one who don't have, they are costing us a lesser amount. We pay a lesser amount, of which we are risking. It's a risk, but we take it because now we don't have money to top up.
If you can come to us afterwards, just give us school names if you know of a school. No, you could come here after. Sorry, hold on, ma'am. Sorry. Can you come to us afterwards and give us the names of the schools? That's what we will need. Thanks, sir. Next.
Thank you, Chairperson, for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Adam Chimane Matibeng, and I rise as one of the branch chairpersons in Kagiso. I belong to Action SA. I rise on two issues, Chairperson, but before that, I just wanted to register a protest, Chairperson. Much time has already been frittered, and you have subjected us to tremendous pressure as members of the community who would like to raise issues. And we have been subjected to pressure, and I must say that much time has already been frittered. And secondly, I also would like to register another protest. As presentations were being made, there were no problems with regard to the systems, the TVs, and so forth and so on. Now we are raising issues. There's a problem with the TVs, and these are issues of paramount importance to us as community members. We would like these issues to be registered. Now all of a sudden there's an IT problem, and I think this borders on sabotage. Either we came here for your information, just to listen to the presentations and go back home as good listeners. We are not here, Chairperson, to come and be good listeners. We are here to participate because it is in line with participatory democracy. So on the two issues that I've risen on, the one on immigration, MEC, thank you very much. You were well spoken in respect of this issue. And as Action SA, we are very strong on this issue of illegal immigration. The issue here, as has already been pointed out, is not so much about the illegal immigrants themselves, but it is attributable to the collapse of the state. When we talk about the state, we are talking about government, we are talking about the population, and we are talking about the border. So immediately we don't have the border, we don't have the state. And as Action SA, we are very strong on this one. We want to restore the state. Without the state, even government and population do not amount to anything. We don't have a state. And therefore, to ask the question, are we a failing state or a failed state, is a wrong question. We don't have the state. The borders are porous, and because of that, we don't have the state. Secondly, I just want to quickly make a recommendation with regard to the reduction of the carbon footprint that was alluded to. That recommendation is that to reduce the carbon print, we need vegetation. So if the Department of Transport could consider the issue of planting trees in our townships and ensuring that those trees are not cut down.
Immigrants, those illegal immigrants, guys, to be honest, in Westland, we are we are in a very dangerous situation. Take decision, because even now, they are soldiers, but soldiers, they are busy harassing us in our houses. They don't go to hotspots where those people are staying, where they live. They just come, they wake you up at 2 a.m., they ask you about the ID. Those people, by that time, they are in the mountains there, doing their works, doing everything there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last speaker at the back.
It's me. Greetings, everyone. My name is Gipsy Diale. I'm from Action SA. Whenever the community is experiencing something, there is a cause. We have illegal immigrants because we have allowed our officials at Home Affairs to do what they wanted to do, not on the interest of the country. You speak about traffic lights. In the Department of Licensing, there is a syndicate where when you have to write a learner's test, you will be put at a certain place and others will be put at the backside where the officials will be helping them to make sure that they pass their exams. And I have a 21-year-old, went there 3 times. Every time they told him that you are left with 1. Do you have anything to say? What does that mean? I know the Kagiso branch does it with the, I don't know what they call it, the licensing department in Krugersdorp, the one next to the backside, I don't know what they call it. So there, I took a car in. People don't take their cars in there. You send a picture of your registration number and your car will pass. I caused the scene. I got there, I put my car where it's supposed to go to that rail there. Nobody came. And I sat and I asked, where are the officials? It's like everybody was surprised that I'm asking where the officials are. So after that, they said the car failed. So I took the report. Second time I went back. So I had my report. They don't want to put the car through the rail. Now I caused the scene. I said to the guy, give me the report for the car, because I took it to AA. So now I'm trying to compare. Can I tell you they were chasing me at the parking? Because they knew what I had in my hand. So we can complain about the robots, but the people that are driving are illegal themselves. Because people just succumb to buying the licenses. People just succumb to even, how do you even not go for a learner's test? At least you know the road markings and all that. So this is where the problem is. We need to find the cause before we can complain about what people are doing. To the department, we are now under 4IR. As you are presenting there, you see some of us are even getting help from classes to try and read. Can we use QR codes for your presentations for future, that we are able to follow what you're saying? What you just presented there, it was nothing to me because I can't even see what is it. So I'm only believing and trusting that you're telling me the truth. So yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ruben from Tukomsoros. The question that I have is not as such about the event that was going on, but my question is about, here we are again, listening to you, making promises and lies. For I don't know how long are you gonna lie to us, sitting there, pretending what you are doing, stealing the money, showing the people you are disgusting. I'm going to use this word. No, you are disgusting. Yet, I'm going to say again, this is my question. All this, is it just because it's now voting time again? Now you're here, now you do what you do now. Or are you here really to make a change after the uselessness of 32 years as a government in South Africa with a broken constitution of yours? If that constitution was so great, why isn't the whole world adopting that great constitution? Because your constitution is based on racism, selfishness, ignorance. Now you are here today making again promises and lies. I thank you.
Can we take the last speaker? Thank you.
All protocol observed. I just have one question. When you fill out application form, it will say name, surname, address, and gender. So in terms of race, the EPWP, what is happening in terms of race? Because I think there was a question asked about female, male, and then the disability. How did they, get their take? So I just would like to know what is happening in terms of race. How did you go about that? Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much to everybody for some of your questions. Some of your questions have directed particular areas that we're wanting to have looked at. Some are more general and very broad. But let me just say this before I hand over to the MEC and the department. I said right at the start, as committees of the legislature and as this portfolio committee, every quarter we go to a different area of the province and we invite local communities and stakeholders. So I think I must just say this, that every quarter, every 3 months, we go to a different area in the province and we try and rotate amongst areas. So the comment that it's because of some event happening in November is not correct, and I just wanted to correct that so that people don't leave here under the impression that this is the first time this committee goes out into communities. Every 3 months we do that. I just wanted to correct that. And secondly, where there are specific roads, specific traffic signals, I think the gentleman at the back there mentioned 3 hotspots in Western area. You just need to bring those to us so that we understand where these are, so that the department can also check whether it falls under them or the municipality, but also so they can engage. All right, so we just need to get those details so that it helps us. But other than that, let me check with the MEC and the department, because I think there are some transport-related matters that have been raised, and just to get their responses. If I can just say this as well. In all the meetings that we go to, the team actually captures everything. All right. And what we did in the last term, before the 2024 elections, we then came back and brought people together to get updates on a number of the areas. There might be areas that don't get attended to straight away, but I can assure you we do follow up. We do follow up. So one or two areas, a road in Azardville, from Azardville to Kagiso, I think it is going towards Krugersdorp. That may have been raised, but we will follow up on that and check. I interact with the councillor in that area from Azardville, Councillor Shabir Tarabai, on a regular basis. So we'll also follow up to try and get an idea exactly where are all these potholes. Obviously, we've had come from a heavy rainy season, and the department, I know, and we do follow up with them ourselves as aid with the municipality. But the department is not allowed to just go in and fix roads in a municipality, because the money that the department has is for provincial roads. So they're not allowed to just go in and go and fix roads all over in municipalities. They can engage, but I think the MEC was alluding to the fact that they are engaging with municipalities because of the state of roads across the province, and that includes municipalities. So I know some of you have raised particular names of roads which we can pick up immediately, that they are within a particular municipal area. But I know that the department would engage, try and follow up with the respective municipality. But I just wanted to highlight that a provincial department is not responsible for every single road in the province, because there are roads that fall under municipalities, and there are budgets that the municipalities have and budgets that the department has for its roads. Just wanted to highlight that. But let me hand over to the MEC and the team. MEC, thank you very much. And thank you very much for all of your inputs, which we appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chair. Let me also start by appreciating inputs made. Bare ka Setswana ba re ngwana o sa lleng o swela tharing. Ntate Ruben, in South Africa, elections are almost every week. By-elections in this country sit almost every week.
in the family, and that's why I refer to my family that they didn't teach me to steal. I've been misrepresenting them. And this is what happens with officials of government. These are members of your churches, these are members of your social clubs, these are your children and your family members who do these fraudulent activities, who have forgotten that you prayed for them to get jobs. And then when they come with that AMG that the salary does not afford, tell us, that's money for corruption. It starts there. Start calling it out there. And once we all frown at it, I tell you, it's going to stop because you know everybody's going not to celebrate in the family, in the community. So we need to start doing our part. Madam has the classical example that President Cyril Ramaphosa is very serious about fighting corruption on behalf of all of us as South Africans. I think on listen to really for the election. On transport, scholar transport. Mama here says, those who don't even have driver's license. Now listen to your contradiction, just here. The other one says, deal with syndicates in the licensing centers who are selling licenses. The other one says, we are going to those who don't have licenses because they are cheap. So it's a community contradiction. We need to fix ourselves. I can want to eradicate it, but when you create a conducive environment for it to thrive, it will continue. And then it will grow like the whole illegal immigration now. So I'm just saying that it can be that we subject our children, because we don't know who gave birth to a president. We don't know, they're still young. We don't know who gave birth to a person who's going to sort out engineering issues that we have. So we can't subject our children to unsafe environments and conditions, no matter who gave birth to the child. So I'm going to come and impound them. Don't say I must not impound. Because today you impeded that information. So I'm going to come. Don't say it's cheap. You are reckless. It's negligence as a mother and father. We must arrest you too. Because we are subjecting our engineer, our gynecologist to harsh conditions of being driven by a person that doesn't even have proper licensing and driving, we don't know how they do it. It's not their problem. So scholar transport operators are people who are partners. It's private, it's between you and them as families. It's like business going to buy bread. It's not regulated in government. But you need to talk to them to say, don't do this. Let's see, look at our condition, and let's see how you accommodate us. Don't allow them to overcrowd your children because they are making profits. And then you expect me to love the children that you don't love. They are my children because you elected me to love them. So I'm going to do Mula. And I guess to another Mula Hosway. I get it as that they came like in Africa. But you can't say to government, enforce the law, but then selective. When it comes to this one, leave it because it's cheap for us. We are creating conducive environment for illegality. We can't. So tell them, hey, we enlightened Monyana, she's coming now. What's that? Yes. So I think Mufabo from Western area, there have been promises for development in our area, lead as roads and transport, and come and deal with what is within your mandate. And perhaps maybe those who are responsible for other things will start seeing that. So it's a staff team, it's a lunch bag we're taking back to the department to our planning forums to deal with the challenges that we are faced with. The other issue from the Western as a whole is that we need subsidized public transport. PRASA must come here, also bring the buses. And this is what, as a department, we've been fighting for it because we've been raising it in different platforms for many, many, many years. And now there's a leader that understands who are trying to prioritize and deal with it. Planting trees in townships, Action SA, Kagiso Chair, I think you need to raise this with your environmental department. But let me raise another, don't dump on our roads. Akuna sero Ramaphosa dampa mo. Akuna phala phala yanda. Kilo. Why are you doing it? It's your communities. You call yourself chairpersons, you call yourself all these things. But if you can go to where you come from, just at the entrance, there's illegal dumping. So what are you leading? Just for them to vote for you? You are not educating and creating awareness, and then you expect Diale Travela to come from Tshwane and come and clean Manseville for you? And we must go back to basis. Election time, it's election time. We work together towards developing our communities. Let me tell you about white communities. But I must say it here. Wherever they are in their spaces, they take care of those spaces. And they don't care whether you are DA or Freedom Front. But on a communal issue, they come together, solve it together, to an extent that they don't wait for government to come fix a tap, a leak. They fix it themselves. So a leak in Manseville runs, all of us and no one says, but this leak. So there's things that we can learn from each other as different places in this country. And there's things where we can work together as communities to fix before government comes. We must challenge government by fixing ourselves. So that we say, but we did this. We are trying. Come give us support. But illegal dumping at the entrance, Manseville, the Pampas. No, they are blocking the storm water. That's why there's flooding. So we need to call each other out. Now I'm not going to lie to you. There's no money. So there's no money. We are struggling, all of us. We want to come fix the things that we never talk about we've been allowing them to continue to happen. So we need to take responsibility and be able to say, how do we create consciousness? How do we create awareness in our communities? We are not interested in them now. 3 months before elections, then we come at as the councillor, they even forget why I'm elected. Because being a councillor is the easiest thing. So we are rushing for that and diverting communities on things that can unite us. So we need to fix that. We need to fix our roads. We were in Manseville for 2 months. Illegal dumping at your entrance. So you see Maralina Kote. So somebody must come and clean. You don't even see there's people you don't know who have arrived in your community. How do you deal with security issues and peace and stability? I've been in Manseville for 2 months. No, get on the ground. And then you are saying you want to arrest people. Who are you to arrest people? You can't. That's wrong in this country according to the constitution. We are in a constitutional democracy. What we need to do more is to create consciousness that this threatens our peace and stability. Go to Kuku Yaba to buy 50, Baku Sarandi, Kamuso Munia. One day these people, because you don't know what they are saying, you can't even pronounce it. The Bajakato and another community were going to fold our hands. Because they'll chase you out of this house. So don't do enter the MK, you'll arrest, only powers thou arrest. You'll end up being arrested yourself. So we need to do that. The road from Chief Mogale inputs Fidis Captain for us to look at them and work with the municipality here to look into what can be done. Zamazamas. The other thing that when government says we are going to do or we are doing, it's our job to give feedback. For why the Zamazamas was for the recovery. It's unfair. Kids must sleep peacefully. The problem is there. By the way, when it was pronounced, community was supposed to say, President Baitaning, public meeting, come and tell us. Come and listen to us to tell you what is the problem. So that their program is aligned with what we want as a people. So that's why I'm challenging everybody who's calling themselves a councillor, a leader of something, that we are misleading people. Because the President has announced that SNDF is coming to our communities. The first thing that we should have done is to say when. And when we know that date, we call a public meeting to say to them, listen to all of us, so that whatever you implement, it's in line with what we have experienced. So let's go back to what they were successful. One day there must be a community meeting to say to them, okay, Ralebona, let's do something for this. Harehani, you are doing your work, we appreciate it. But alert us for just, it's got to talk again cooperation in 9 big but we say or in that. So those are the things that I think as a community we need to really take responsibility on. No one will take you for a ride, because they will know that that community will hold you accountable. I think recruitment in Mogale City to GMA, we always advertise positions on our website. We encourage Banaba Corona to apply. But then the truth of the matter is EPWP is not a solution to unemployment and economic challenges that we are faced with. None of you ask, where are the bursaries? A very concerning. A meeting of this magnitude does not speak about skills development and bursaries. So we are defocused. Let's come back and focus communities. There's no way we will get liberation and economic freedom when we don't force children to be in class. And that's what we must do. There's a government that provides feeding scheme. They must be in school, but not just in school. They must do courses that can help us build this country better. So we can't all study public administration instead of studying the politician. So we must fight. This is Department of Roads and Transport. My expectation here was, where are the bursaries for training of kids that must go study rail engineering to come and fix the rail challenges, because rail is a backbone of transportation, but the rail is the future in the current world. So I'm just saying, if I didn't give it, so if Helena Road is on the IDP, we need to know how much was budgeted for it, so that we're able to go back, give the communities we are leading for it. I must constructor or resurfacer. Discover IDP, more provincial legislature. So IDP resigns. IDP as service delivery budget implementation planning delivery. Councillor is supposed to come back to you and say it's budgeted for, and then we must know where and then re itse gore plan ya maphelo a rona. So the responsibility to the leader that is here could go back and check if a leader road is in the IDP or the municipality and whether it's budgeted for. Le nna go ira homework mara nka se go really homework when you're a community. I get these are the things we must understand back home. And then if Khayo o tla go platform e tshwana le le wa botsa wa re bana portfolio committee a le go pe MEC le gore gate e ka costa 3 million a re ferele community at least fela batho ba go ba ka tsela e. So when I know how it whether you go IDP or not budget and then you are saying to me I must come fix it and then you find that you fix it because so let's have information, especially on what the municipality is going to do. The foreign vehicles and number plates, law enforcement I know is dealing with it. Please let's create awareness that people must not go and do roadworthy certificates. This book here, I just said we are not related, but she understands the way. So, foreign vehicles and number plates, it's a no-no. They are not licensed. And go remember this scholar transport, the city but have a good colony, they were saying are they SABS approved? Little officer, so move away from that. I think women refiki input to department it's episode relukise scholar transport gyat leba bolele gore gyatla ke tla ka matsa ka tsaya se se leng wrong mo tseleng ebile gona mo re tshwara le batswadi ba bana ba ba supportang. So permits we are issuing them every week. We're trying our best. Let me take responsibility. Department day, equally to the, especially for licensing. So we have tried to fix where we can, and we're starting to issue permits. By the way, I get the license, but it's a little permits. So permit directly, why apply and you get it. Please don't buy a permit, you are creating a problem for the system. We have a portal app, it's fixed portal GP app on Android phones, iPhones and others. Please download it and report. The turnaround is not 7.2 days. What did she say? 7.2 months. It's not, Councillor. It's not, and it's not supposed to. It's 72 hours. And let's report and we ensure there's turnaround. Let me also take responsibility. And I did, the department have neglected the West End, including its own regional office. So we have rearranged it, reconstituted it. Coordination is now better. We're trying to also get the municipalities well coordinated for us to do work according to what we must do. EPWP, councillors, social facilitation in the Department of Roads and Transport involved councillors. And if they have not done it, but my number is even when you speak to me on WhatsApp, I resolve the issues first than when you make a call. We're not going to know. So let's ensure that we participate in social facilitation. I can't be here all the time, so we depend on officials to do the right thing, and I think we must ensure that we include all wards, especially when there are projects in those wards. But EPWP is not a solution to unemployment. It's a temporary measure. We can't have society that doesn't have a metric. So as we encourage them, councillors, to grab the opportunity of EPWP, RM and go fight for community colleges to skill them differently. There's a big budget that no one fights for in all our imbisos, of community colleges to skill communities. And we can partner in that Deputy Manamela in that to ensure that at least we get people to be differently skilled. I think we all agree law enforcement is our problem, and the Premier is starting to attend to it. We have an integrated approach to policing in our province. And then Scholar Transport, I spoke about it. R24 linked to N14 gravel road. Our gravel roads are very bad, and we are working on resolving that. Some of them we are moving from gravel to tar. There's a program to that. Like I said, there's lack of resources, but we are working hard on it. I hope the team has taken note of that gravel road that needs to be fixed and be done. Grass cutting, it was delayed. But there's that process of ensuring that we have grass cutting contractors to come on the ground. Units, I mean, EPWP linked to infrastructure. I think, like I've been saying, EPWP is an intervention program to alleviate poverty. So one of the things is, and especially for the unskilled. So one of the things is that when we do infrastructure development, there are requirements. You must tell government how did you benefit local communities on creating temporary jobs, on creating economic opportunities for SMMEs, on creating jobs for the skilled. So it's an intervention program to ensure that it's a 24-month program, but we always have a problem of people wanting to be there forever. Every project is in 1 hour cancel where happened with all those projects, or give 1 hour chairperson action essay, because chairperson action essay can fight in a meeting. So I give an example so we are at fault. So we need to R560 and R563. We're taking the scaffolding back home. I think it was a mistake. Please forgive us not to include your communities in that ward, and we need to fix it. Please don't allow projects to continue when your communities are not included. I think, Chair, we tried to respond to all the issues, and other issues is to say go and fix. And then please don't fold your arms when I come fix. So that we have a responsibility to hold me accountable. Don't give me labels that I was not born with. Your job, you have voted. Voting is not like a vending machine where you put a coin and get a Coke. Voting is a responsibility to say, I have voted for this government. Therefore, we shall service it. You don't sit and say, things have deteriorated because we are always waiting for that voting. It's 5 years, it's a long time. Hold us accountable every hour, every day, every month. Facebook page here is very active. Visit her every day. Meeting so let's also use those things. Scar, don't insult me. I can learn like it to give very much. So let's do the right thing. Let's hold each other accountable so that we have a better government. It doesn't matter which color. Now you are forcing us to work together as West. So I want to ragata very red. Abari ene MEC of Finance, Gauteng, Gauteng. So it's one about I can say clear rice Mozambique. We are one. I can say clear PTA, Minister of Education, PTA. So you have, as communities said, go work together. So don't entertain us when we come here and point fingers at each other. You must say, Fix. Stop complaining about the others. Just make sure that you fix this country. We are here as communities to give you support. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Let me again thank each one of you for your inputs. I've given a request to the committee section to compile a report. And we'll go back to previous meetings since 2024. And we've asked them to go through this so we can get a report. All the issues that have raised. Just one or two things if I may conclude. So I've just sent a message to the chairperson of the portfolio committee indicating that some of the issues about segments broader than just controls. It's entire areas of payment for the fund. And I've asked to do a discussion with them and see how we could facilitate.
Everything that was just positive. It's not doing research.
The suggestion about a
so you challenge
QR code
by bringing what is within spec.
when we come to meetings like this, when somebody can scan and download those documents onto their gadget. We'll take that up. I think it's a great decision. We don't generally make copies of documents. Somebody mentioned about being in the 4IRA and paper copies is no longer something that we think is right. So we'll look at, explore the idea of a QR code when we have such engagement sessions with the exporter. Give it a trial run in the area that we go to. But I just want to say that we don't fetch people from across the province to come to a particular area. We're in the West Rand, we focus on the West Rand. If we go to Kwali, we focus on the Kwali. So I heard somebody was saying you meet people, you meet your friends in different areas, happening from our committees. So just wanted to mention that. But I want to say thank you to each one of you. Councillor Brits, Councillor, you mentioned numerous roads. I'm trying to capture them. Can you help us with the list of all the different roads that you were talking about? So that we can give them to But let me take this opportunity of thanking you all for being here. I hope you have benefited from the engagements that have taken place. It will come when I'm dead. I hope you have. We have benefited from your inputs. And we appreciate we benefited from that as well. So thank you very much.
The number is don't call. Send an SMS, raise your query, write your name, surname, where you come from, and your contact number. I get it about any query, I must pass it. So in your, it's like writing a letter. You remember? So you must write it like you are writing a letter. Then with kind regards, Kules 08293456. And then now it will be to CEO, to HOD, to DDG. Please, let's do that again. Don't call me at night. Don't call me, I'm always in meetings. Just write that WhatsApp or message. It's very important. So my number is 066 042 9231. 066 042 9231. This is the number of the state. So the state pays for this number. So whatever you do with it, I'm able to say to the state, I'm threatened. That's why ke le fa yona ha se ya ka. Ke a puso. E bereka from 6 o'clock to another 6 o'clock. La bona re ke le file le extra hours tsa mmereko. So please, let's use that number effectively. Don't scare me si mwana ko batla mmereko. Apply o batla ke matla. Thank you very much, Chair.
So, thank you very much all of you for being here. My cards are here. One of my cards, my legislature number is here. You can do the same thing, send me a WhatsApp, or my email address is there. I'll leave this here. If you want it, you can come and take it. But, sorry, let's just want to say thank you very much to all of you. I'd also like to say thank you to the interpretation services. Thank you very much for the excellent work that you've done. I'm sure it has helped a number of us, so thank you very much. People who have done the sound, thank you very much. The screens that have been working the whole time, thank you very much. By the way, these screens were not what's being broadcast. This was for us here. So you can see you on the screen in front of you. Let me also say thank you to all the service providers. Sign language. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Everybody else, the committee support team, who have put this together. Let me say thank you to the MEC, HOD and the team for being here with us as well. I'm sure you've all taken notes of some of the areas that need to be looked at. Let me also say thank you to members of the parliament who are here today. Thanks, members. One or two that have left, but we thank everybody. Just to say that lunch is apparently being served on the first floor. Is that upstairs? Upstairs. Okay. And then I have let me just as I conclude, as you travel home to wherever you're going, can we request that you please obey the rules of the road? If the speed limit is 60 kilometers an hour, drive at 60. If it's 120, drive at 120. I really want to appeal. And please remember, don't drink and drive. And wherever you go, please arrive alive. Thank you very much.